All right, all right. Okay. Testing, one, two. Testing, one, two.
Peace and
One,
love,
two.
beautiful souls.
One, two. All right. All right. You want to you can change it if you want to.
No, you do.
Okay, what's going on, family? It's your boy Richie Rich coming to you again with another video. Today we coming with Sensei today with childhood trauma. How does it affect you in your adulthood? From childhood to adulthood, how does childhood how do the things of your childhood affect your adulthood? So that's what we're talking about today.
Man,
Sensei, want to take it away?
man, beautiful topic, my brother, and it's an honor to be here with you as usual. Uh, Powerful topic as we talking about childhood traumas and how they affect us today. Uh, and we live right now on YouTube as well, family. If anybody wants to jump over on that platform, we're live over there right now. Um, I want to set the tone real quick. Peace and love, beautiful souls. Man, it's an honor to be here once again. And the reason why I want to take the time out today, and nothing is coincidence because we meant to have this show on Friday, yesterday, but a lot of things happened yesterday that kind of stopped it. So everything happens in divine timing. Uh, so when you're understanding how these things work, you don't let anything stop you. The show must go on regardless. So when you allow yourself to through, you make sure that certain things fall into alignment, no matter if they don't happen when you want them to or not. Now, let's get right into it. Childhood traumas. First of all, I have to take all of us back. I have to take us back into a time of our childhood. I have to take us back into a time when we were when the world was so new to us. When we asked questions about life, think about your children. Think about how, mommy, why is the grass green? Mommy, why is your nose look like this? Daddy, why your face look like this? Daddy, why your ears look like that? Why is this? What is that bug doing? What is that? What's the name of that? Like all the different questions. Why does the sky look like that? That innocence, that pure life joy that children have within them. And I want you to think about the last time you felt that for yourself. I want everybody that's listening to this right now, I want you to really dig deep. I really want you to be open and honest with yourself. I really want you to take yourself back as far as you can remember. And I want you to think about when was the last time you felt that way? When was the last time you felt that sense of joy, that sense of happiness within you? None of us, so many of us can't even fathom the idea of going back into that time. And I'm not telling you to remember a time when you thought like a child. I'm just telling you to remember a time when there was a sense of exuberance, a sense of bliss in you, to where nothing mattered, to where only life mattered, you know? And a lot of us growing up the way we grew up, especially in traumatic shit, being raised by parents that were locked in survival mode, right? We all ended up having to be locked in survival mode ourselves. And what happened to us was we began to be suppressed by people that were suppressed. We began to be taught survival by people that only knew survival. We began to be taught aspects on how to love and how to maneuver and how to navigate our lives from the aspects of our immediate and our subconscious and our compulsive needs and our wants and our desires. So we began to develop habits that really weren't your own. Think about your childhood, and I'll just take mine for example. Of course, I'm always using me because in this life, we all live a selfish life. I want you all to understand something. Only thing you know in this life is self. That's all you know in this life. There's nothing else you will ever experience outside of you. Everything that happens in this life has happened within you. So there's nothing wrong with living a selfish life. You just have to understand that you are the gift that keeps on giving. Now, when you embrace that, your life will begin to be more meaningful. So when you begin to understand how growing up, watching my mama. I was 12 years old when my mama finally had my little brother. Shout out to my little bro. But when my mama finally had my little brother, I was 12 years old. But up until that time, my mama was a single mom, working hard. My mama smoked crack for a little while. I caught her at one instance, in the bathroom. I grew up in Bunton, what I'm saying, watching a lot of different things when I was growing up, seeing people getting killed right in front of me. What I'm saying? Like hustling was the shit. What I'm saying? Like it was like selling crack. I remember when crack hit. Uh, I remember when heroin was real popular on Broad Street. What I'm saying? Growing up in my hood. I remember when a lot of aspects of growing up, in South Dallas, man. Say, I'm telling you, it's some real shit growing up in the South. Like you see a little bit of goddamn thing. So it's like we all become a semi-product of our environments. We all become a semi-product of the things that have been pouring into us, even when we didn't have no idea it was happening. So the whole aspect of your childhood, I want us all to be mindful that your whole childhood was in a controlled and manipulated environment. If you grew up in the hood, if you grew up in a traumatic environment like the projects and all that type of shit, to where they designated a certain type of people to a concentrated area, and they control the dynamic of the way the people thought, the way the people felt, the way that people ate. See what I'm saying? So we were up against a lot of different dynamics when it comes to control. See, I'm not here to focus on the problem. See, we're solution orientated. This is what we're doing. We're bringing solutions. So we can all acknowledge that we've been tricked. We can all acknowledge this. So we have to acknowledge this for our parents as well. Our parents were hurt. Our parents were fucked up. Our parents were used. A lot of our mothers went through pregnancies, and this is a powerful experience that we need to acknowledge as well. Your mother going through a traumatic experience when she was pregnant. A lot of mothers that's even going to listen to this now or listen to this in the future can equate to this. Being afraid when you're in the time of being pregnant. Not knowing what's going to happen next. Not knowing how you're going to provide for your child. Not knowing if the father going to stay. Not knowing all of these things at the same time you're pregnant. At the same time you're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand how powerful this is and how this traumatic experience is being passed on to your child, because all of your fears, this is energy that you're dealing with. So a lot of this is the things that we're unaware of. This equates to our ignorance. So this equates to our darkness. See, enlightenment is only an aspect of things about you being aware of. So how aware are you of the things that you've been going through and how you've been passing them on and how they've been passed on to you? Because it's a powerful thing when you realize how real these generational curses can be passed down. Because we want to equate food and all these other things to what we do. But your food and your eating habits are equated to your emotions. The way you eat, all of your compulsive needs and your compulsive desires are equated to the way you feel. The way you think is the way you feel, but also the way you feel is the way you think. So it's a reversal that always goes. It's a dynamic. It's a duality. The moment we were born into this life, we were met with duality. So when you understand how this experience has been given to us and how we were taught by people that were locked in survival mode, and all we knew was to go get it. All we knew was to suppress how we feel, to go get the bills, to go make sure the bills were paid. You know what I'm saying? You got to get this money regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like how we watch mama, how we watch grandmama, how we watch everybody that come before us sick, like dying, like going through it. Like we knew they was fucked up, and we watched them go to work. We watched them work hard. Like we couldn't make no excuses after watching somebody grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you didn't have no choice but to sit the fuck down and goddamn me get your mind right and fuck how you feel, and you better go out here and earn a living. You better know what it means to be grown. So a lot of us were robbed of the essence of being children. A lot of us were robbed of being a child. And I'm telling you, I was one of them. By the time I was 11, 12 years old, I was doing grown folk shit. By the time I was 11, 12 years old, I was doing grown folk shit. I was already wanting to smoke weed. I was gambling. I was chilling. I was doing all kind of shit that I know I wasn't supposed to be doing, hiding shit. I began to develop secrets. I began to develop all this shit because I was watching different people. I watched people sell dope. I watched people hustle. I watched people goddamn me work. I watched my grandmama never learn how to drive a car. So you got all these different dynamics that's going into your mind. I'm going over here watching my dad and them family go through something else. I'm over here, my mom and them family on something totally different. Like I'm over here, my uncle and them, like they on they barely fuck with me. My auntie and them over here stay way out of town. She married to a preacher. Like it's just like all this dynamic of your life. All of this shit is pouring into you as a child. You just picking up everywhere you go. And now let's not equate that to the people that have lost parents, to the people that grew up in foster homes, to the people that grew up with people that didn't love them, that didn't give them any appreciation, calling them, let's set your little bitch ass up. Fuck you, you ain't shit. Like we done dealt with this type of shit as children. Like somebody telling you you ain't shit when you a child. Somebody telling you they wish your little bitch ass wasn't alive. Somebody telling you they wish you weren't hurt. Somebody telling you that you can't eat in their house. Somebody telling you that you better go get you something. All these different shit. And you a child and you got to deal with these grown folks who don't know how to deal with their own emotions. So they spill that shit over to you. So you grow up your whole life thinking this how you supposed to do with your own emotions yourself. So I'm telling y'all how deep this shit go and how real it is, even the smallest things. If you grew up in a household and your mom and daddy work for a living, you adopted in a whole nother. And what we do, we call them from the hood, all they sheltered. He came in the game with a silver spoon in his mouth, all of that kind of shit. Like the separation, see, the dynamic of the division. To where if you ain't from the hood, you can't get it. If you from the suburb, then man, you know what I'm saying? You on some more shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how now you don't know what it's like growing up in the shit we grew up here. You'll never, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much separation that is within us that have been given to outside dynamics. Like, we didn't know the difference between light skin and dark niggas. Like, we didn't never equate that shit. We had to go to school, watch this shit. And if you didn't get the shit at home, you went to school and got it. Especially if you went to public school. If you grew up in a whole nother place and you end up going to a public school, you end up transferring to a high school or a junior high school, and it was in the hood, man, I guarantee you your whole mindset changed. I guarantee you seen some shit that you like, man, say, this shit here is wild and a motherfucker. Like, because we grew up in a whole survival. Everything was about what you can do. Everything was about how fast you can get this money. Everything was about a quick come up. Everything in your life, everything in our life, how smart you can be. You know what I'm saying? Like how good you can score on these tests. You know what I'm saying? Being removed from my divine essence. This is all I'm giving y'all. Like this is some real shit that we all are trying to heal from. So it's so many different dynamics, so many different things that we've been through in our childhood that still haunt us today because they affect the way we think, they affect the way we eat, they affect the way we feel, they affect the way we go into these relationships. They affect the way we become codependent. They affect the way we become narcissistic. They affect the way a young man treats a woman as he grows up. They affect the way a young woman begins to receive love. I watched a story on a young lady, and this young lady grew up. Her mother gave her away when she was 7 years old, and her mother gave her away to a foster home. And the young lady, after going through foster home, she got some foster parents. They began to rape her. One man was raping her and sticking knives inside of her vagina, doing all type of traumatic things to this young woman. And she turned to the streets. Like this is the type of shit that we go through, and then we turn to the streets. Like the streets become our conduit. And then everything that we see on TV, everything that we hear in the rap, and everything that becomes what we see before our eyes, the instant gratification in the game. Like that's what got me when I left college. When I left college after I had my daughters, and I began to realize that I got to get some money right now. I worked, I did that type of shit. But you know, growing up in Bonton, I'm already knowing what this money do. I'm already knowing what the hustling do. I know what the game do. I turned to the streets. I did all this shit. I lived that life. I know what that shit means. I watched myself go through it. I used to tell myself I hustle for a different reason. So in the game, what you dealing with is a bunch of young men in the streets that are trying to make sure that they motherfucking means justify the ends. You know what I'm saying? So the killing, the murdering, the robbing, all that shit don't matter because I gotta feed my family. You get what I'm saying? So somebody gotta understand this right here. Like it don't make no difference. I'm gonna do this, because I gotta feed my family. So we all got different dynamics on how we want to do it, but all of it falls under the same motherfucking umbrella. You just might not be willing to go kill a motherfucker to go feed your family. You might be willing to go get you a 9 to 5. You might be willing to go lie and steal and cheat. You might not want to go break in nobody's house. But you got people out here that are willing to do these things to go get it. They want this money. This is the mold that we locked in because somebody taught us that you ain't shit without no money. Somebody taught us that you can't get in this life. You can't get nothing in this life if you ain't got no money. Like I promise you, if you think about this, I promise you, if you come to a certain realization, you will realize how money has manipulated your whole dynamic. How money manipulates your emotions, your feelings, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, the way you move. Money changes everything about us. Who gave us that value? What gives us that value? What makes us say that money is the root of all evil? Where does this come from? What is the true root? The root is your survival. The root is your need to be known. The root is your need to be noticed. The root is your need to be significant. That is the root. Your root is the need to be valid. Your thought of the need to be inclusive because somewhere along the line, somebody made you feel deprived of love. Somebody made you feel unappreciated. And all you seen was people who had money get it. So you move in a different fashion. You begin to move in a different way in your life. You begin to find different avenues of yourself. You begin to cry out for attention, and you begin to develop other things that described you, other things that showed who you were. And these things began to be materialistic. See? Because a part of you began to watch people who were defined by this shit. You knew the uncle who had money was goddamn the one that everybody called when they needed shit. You knew all this type of shit was going on. If your daddy was in the streets, if your daddy hustled or whatever the case may be, you knew the type of shit your daddy did. Like you knew what came with that. You watched that. Like the choices that we made were given to us. None of these things have been in an aspect of you choosing who you are. This is why we get older in our life and we still trying to find out who the fuck we are. Because there's so many aspects of us that have been molded and given to us by society to the point to where you finding you becomes such a journey. You finding you becomes so hard to do. You learning how to love you requires so much because so many things have been, as a young man, you grow up hearing that you the man of the house. Your mom, now society has removed your father in the aspect of the penitentiary, in the aspect of drugs, in the aspect of your father choosing another dynamic for him to get rich, in the aspect of somebody putting your father in a place of feeling like he wasn't ready to be a father. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like not to be ready to be a father. I know what that feels like to have that pressure where I feel like I cannot be able to stand put on me. See, that's the shit that led me to where I am. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that led me to where I am. That's the hold on, right here. That's the shit that led me to where I am. All right. Those type of things led me right to where I am. Trying to remove that whole dynamic of being so defined by so many things and people and titles outside of me. Understanding that my mama was hurt and watching her, go through and grow up and watching her smoke and go to work, missing football games because she worked so hard. Couldn't show up, all these different things. And then when she finally passed away, how hard she was working. And the fact that on my mother's birth certificate, it said that cigarette smoke and heart disease is what killed her. That shit shook me because I knew why she smoked cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? I knew why she had heart disease. I began to realize that it was because of her eating habits. My mama was stressed out. My mama wanted to do so many things. And as a young man that watched my mama stress, that watched my mama do all these things, when I grew up, all I wanted to do was give my mama a house. Like that's all I wanted to do. I got to make sure my mama I got to do something for my mama that I didn't watch a man ever do. You get what I'm saying? Like we raising young men that want to do something for their mothers that they never watched a man do. So I'm telling you, these kids,
they don't hear nothing you say, but they watch everything you do. See, it's the same thing you did. You didn't hear nothing your mama and them said. You didn't hear nobody said. You watched everything that they did. You began to mimic and amplify that shit. So when you began to become a product of everything that you've seen, you see how the pattern continues? You see how you can tell your kids not something and they see you do it and they like, man, you telling me not to do this, but you're doing it. Like, it's such a pattern that has been created. And the reason why I say it's not your fault, because it is not your fault as a woman. You have been pushed into a mold. You have been pushed into a mode of your animalistic instincts. Our survival mode, our lower self, all right? Your chakras are what equates to the energies that I'm talking about. Understanding that there's a part of you that is animalistic, a part of you that will kill, you will destroy, you will do whatever it is to make sure that you survive. This is the mode that we are locked in. If you look at the dynamic of the way we think, we are still locked in the mindset of we got to kill, we got to do these things to survive. The whole difference is now this dynamic is flipped upon us. We are our biggest competitors. We have been turned against each other because we view each other as our biggest threat. See, think about this. You don't view you just view the dynamic of society as your threat. You don't actually view a white person as your threat. If you did, you would not smile every time you saw a white person and cringe when you saw somebody black. Think about this shit. Think about how deep this is. You see a white person and you wonder why they don't smile back at you. You see a nigga and you watching them. You understand how strong this is? And y'all wonder why we can't come together? You wonder why we can't unite, all right? You wonder why even when you move into this spiritual community, so-called shit, and even the division lies on who you believe in, what you worship, and what you don't. If you're doing sex magic or all this old dumb shit that keeps on dividing us in a cycle of us allowing it because internally we don't know who the fuck we are. Tell me that I am wrong, and I will end this video right now. I promise you that when you see somebody white, you do not have the same feeling as you do when you see somebody black, and you say that you are not racist. You say it's them. We say it's them. But we say it's them. Oh, yeah, I'm taking y'all somewhere with this. See, this is what your childhood has done to you. Seeing the images of what a nigga is supposed to be, you are now afraid of the image of you. You can't trust you. So therefore, how in the fuck can you trust your neighbor? How can you trust your brother? You always worried about who up to what, who watching you, who in your business. Tell me I'm wrong. Where did this whole mindset come from? Somebody gave us this shit. So you see how much healing has to reveal for you? See, this shit don't just stop. See, you got to be able to remove every aspect of who you are in order for you to embrace the truth and what it is. In its totality, you can't embrace half truths. Well, you can live a life of half a lie. And a lot of us we're so comfortable doing that shit. I'm telling y'all that this shit goes so deep to the point to where until you have internal realizations, until you come to the aspect of you knowing who you are in every aspect of loving and caring and nurturing and having compassion for yourself, you can never give it to anybody else. But see, the problem is you've been robbed of this. We were doing grown folk shit before we were teenagers. By the time you were 14 years old, a lot of us either had kids or you already were having sex or you wanted a child. You wanted to be grown. You wanted to dress grown, act grown. Then when you got older, because of the main thing that you were robbed of and how to deal with your emotions, see, you still never learned how to do this even as an adult. You still suffer in this area in your life because you're too intertwined and intertangled with everything that you think loves you, everything that you think cares about you, because that's what makes you feel whole and complete, because throughout your childhood, you missed it somewhere. And if you were somebody who was sheltered, someone who was overloved, then I got the love I needed when I was I don't fall into that category. For those type of people who say that I was good, I didn't have a fucked up childhood, I had this and I had that. I bet you the aspects of what you think about love is attached to something materialistic and some college degree, some type of college education, some type of title. Some sense of entitlement comes with your sense of who you are because of your childhood. You feel entitled to certain things. You feel separated from niggas. I ain't like them niggas. See? Yeah, you one of them kind. See? You see how this is? You're not excluded from this. None of us are. See? Until you step back and you realize just how you think you included, but really your inclusion involves you being exclusive to somebody or something. Understand what the fuck I'm telling you. So this shit is such a deeply rooted dynamic to where we are now pushing our fears and our desires and our wants, living through our kids vicariously, and we happy with this. And someone said that we're supposed to be. Someone said that we're supposed to be living through our kids. We're supposed to be, reliving the things and not allowing our kids to do the shit we did and kind of guide them in a way. Let me tell y'all something. I guarantee you, if you have a 14-year-old child right now, and if you go in there and you ask your child, would you want me to just let you live your life, like, and not push the things that I want you to do on you? Would that make you feel better? Yes, it would. Guess what, your fears? They don't know better. Do you know better? Do your thoughts of you knowing better, where did it get you? Oh, I got this house, I got this car, I got this. But I bet you if I ask your child, do you think your mama happy? Do you think your daddy happy? Guess what your baby gonna say? No, they ain't happy. And so guess what your child is not gonna be? Happy. See, we have all these external things that we think equate to our happiness. And you think that you can hide this from your kids by how hard you work because somebody gave you that dynamic. You want your kids to recognize how hard you work, how much you struggle, how much you suffer. You know what I done for you? You know what I done sacrificed for you? And you gonna do me like this? I was there too. You know how many pair of Jordans I bought? You know how many days I hustled? You know how many times, I'm broken people's houses doing all this shit to make sure y'all straight? Who I was doing that shit for? See, I recognize I was doing that shit because a part of me didn't want to feel like I wasn't worth being a good father. I was trying to live up to something. See, my love wasn't good enough. See, I reached the point to where I allowed my love to be good enough because I realized the people that were before me taught me that love was an action. See, they taught me that love was something I had to prove to my kids. I had to prove to people. I had to prove to all these other things. I had to show people. See, we were taught that love is sacrifice. Love is what you give. Love is how much you can do for people. You love me, so you're supposed to be here for me. You love me, you got to accept me. You can't love me for me, I don't want you. See, this whole dynamic of this love thing, see? I recognized that love was something that I had to become. Until I became this essence of love for myself. Until I realized that no matter what I bought, no matter how many games I showed up to, no matter how many times I spoke certain words, no matter how many times I wanted to be appreciated, no matter how many times I said I love you, no matter how many times I was there, no matter how many times I felt unappreciated, no matter how many times I felt like a victim, until I learned to love myself, everybody outside of me had my power. Everybody outside of me was determined my worth. Somebody could say that I didn't come through for them. My kids could say that that's fucked up, that you weren't able to buy us nothing to eat. Now I feel worthless. Now I feel less than a man. A woman can tell me that, you ain't ready for me, and this ain't the time for us. And now I feel worthless. Now I feel less than a man. See, because some part of me was suppressed. Some part of me was thinking that I had to live up to a certain standard in order to be somebody for somebody else. So when I began to take that power back, it required for me to realize that as a child, I was missing certain aspects because I began to understand that the first 20 years of our life determine how we go in our maturity. If you look at the first 20 years of your life, the type of childhood you had determines who you are right now. The type of parents you had, the type of molding, the type of environment that you grew up in. I guarantee you,
your energies are still a product of those environments. You don't have to look at your surroundings.
I want you to look at your ways. I'm not talking about the fact that you live in a nice house now and you don't live in a hood no more. I'm not talking about the fact that you think that physically you removed yourself from something. I'm talking about mentally, you still identify with the same shit. Mentally, you still that nigga. Mentally, you still that same motherfucker. So how much are we willing to even expand on this? How much are we willing to even to understand that there's parts of us that we are still pushing onto our children because we were removed who we are.
So what's the solution to this? The solution is your healing. The solution is you allowing yourself to return back to you. This is what all the scripts, this is what all the texts, this is what all these ancient scriptures are telling you about. Returning back to you. Because as creation, you are never separate from the creator. As someone who is life, you are never separate from the life source. You understand how this works? So because we live through our physical nature, all you know is life through your five senses. All you know is life through survival. All you know is life is through what you got, through what you can touch, through what you can drive, through what you can eat. See, that's all that defines you. You don't know what truly defines you. You don't know how powerful you truly are. See, spirituality is meant to enhance your life, not take from your life. See, this is where I come from. I'm not coming from another aspect of telling you you need to come over here and practice this. I'm telling you that you need to get in tune with you and you need to reveal the layers of you that have been hidden and taken away from you. And I'm telling you, it started in your childhood. It started at a time when you were in the crib. I want you to think about something. Anybody that has children or, you watch the child grow up or whatever the case may be, I want you to
think about a child. What's the two emotions that they have? They laugh and they cry. I said this before, I said 1,000 times because I want to drill this into your minds. Understand that a child only gives you these two emotions. Why? Out of a need for survival or out of a need of crying or wanting something to eat or I need my Pampers changed or, and they laugh and they're joyous.
When you mess with them playing peekaboo, tickling them, they get joyous. It's just a beautiful thing to watch them laugh. But there's another cry, all right? There's another cry to where when you say, oh, my child is crying, I've changed them, I fed them, they good. You go pick them up anyway. You go, once somebody came and picked you up anyway, see, that desire it started to grow in you so deep and so long that you didn't even know it was there. Because in every human being, there's an innate desire to be connected to something. There's a desire within you. There's a longing within you. What do you think sex is? What do you think sex is? That's your longing to be one with something. See? Why do you think you want the lights off? Close your eyes. See? Why do you think it feels so good? See, why do you think sex has become something that rules our physical nature? You understand what I'm saying? See, this is what this has done to us. So this is how easily sex sells in society. This is why everything that they do plays on our pleasure. Everything that you do is
an aspect of you trying to escape your pain through some method of pleasure. Whether it be shopping, whether it be eating, whether it be through sex, whether it be through relationships, whether it be through driving, taking trips, whether it be through drinking, whether it be through smoking, whether it be through taking pills. It don't make no goddamn difference. Why do you think over 70% of the United States of America is on some type of chemical dependency? See, this shit is childhood trauma.
This shit didn't just start when you got older. You got older and the shit hit you. You got older and you wanted to go back to being a child. See, you got older and you like, whoa, wait a minute. This shit being a grown, like, and think about this shit. The people that taught you love. I said this before too. The people that taught you love, when you saw how crazy they was in love, you like, I don't want that kind of love. I don't want to be, if that's what love is, I don't want that love. What you end up doing? You end up going into that love anyway. Because your love is defined by what somebody can do for you. Your love is defined by how much they can bring into you.
We don't know how to accept people for who they are. We always trying to make people fit in our life. That's why the shit don't work. Because when you were a child, all you learned how to do was fit in people's life. That's all you learned how to do. When you were a child, you learned how to suppress your meat for the week. You had to do it. Every institution, when you went to school, you had to dress a certain way. You had to sit down and shut the fuck up. You had to do all these things or you getting kicked out. I don't give a damn if you was in the goddamn kindergarten or whatever the case may be. You had to act a certain way in order for you to be in these institutions, in order to be in these places. You begin to be suppressed. You have to raise your hand and use the bathroom. Can I go use the bathroom? No, you ain't got to use it. Teacher tell you ain't got to use it. And then we get into an aspect of saying, and we deal with this shit so much. Teacher don't like me. A lot of us got to understand how much truth is in this shit when your child tells you this. Because if you really understand that we have a lot of adults running around teaching children, and they fucked up too. They internally fucked up because they childhood life was fucked up. And they looking at some of these kids, these kids got them fucked up. When you're an adult, say something like a kid got them fucked up, it's a fucked up situation that's gonna happen. Whenever an adult can find themselves in an aspect of being manipulated by a child, this should let you know something. Whenever we're dealing with the dynamic within schools to where we have adult teachers, all right, who cannot emotionally deal with younger children, what does this tell you? See, this is for me, it's a deeper problem here. See, you see what I'm saying? See, for me, it's a deeper problem here. See, I want you to understand how deep this problem goes, because now you're dealing with administrators who are ready to go home. You're dealing with administrators who are dealing with their own shit, on chemical dependencies, half of them popping pills like a motherfucker. I talk to counselors and shit all the goddamn time. Half of our administrators, half of the people that are teaching our children are emotionally suppressed themselves. I don't even want to talk about the physicians that y'all going to go see, the doctors that y'all going to go see. See, this is how deep this shit goes. Because we are all, in some aspects, still dealing with childhood shit as adults on every level as in our lives. Until you begin to identify with the fact that some part of you is still running around looking for some validation that you never got as a child. That's how we always able to recognize the people that, what we say, we clap. We do this anyway. We look at motherfuckers and say, you must have been a bullet in school. Like most of the people that we say police, right? Think about how real this shit is. Most of the people that end up police, we always say they was bullied in school, or they weren't real popular in school. You know, they was probably skinny or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Picked on, or you know what I'm saying? Or wasn't popular. They wanted to be known. Like everybody fits some type of dynamic based off how you grew up. Look at you and tell your dad, your mama must have hustled. Well, your mama must have been a gang like mother. Your dad is so dope. Like motherfucker, look at you and judge you. Now we do this to ourselves. So this is how much this energy and how much we are so much of a product of our childhood traumas. Rapes. A lot of this lead to women not wanting to be touched, not being able to fully feel safe with a man, causing a man to feel like he's not doing something right, not being able to verbalize your pain. Somebody telling you that your pain don't matter. So you get older thinking that you have to please people in order for you to be loved. You begin to hurt yourself. And don't talk about the ones that had to grow up and you began to be the mama in the house before you was even, goddamn me, before you even had sex, you were running around cooking breakfast and changing pampers and locking doors and lying and telling people that your mama was at home knowing goddamn well y'all was in there by y'allself. See, we grew up under some real shit that we still got to deal with right now as adults. And you wondering why our kids are fucked up the way they are. If you look at the way we doing right now, we actually following the kids. We are following the kids. We listen to the rap music they listen to. The way we grew up, our grandmama and them, we couldn't come in there playing no motherfucking The Baby or none of that shit. What the fuck? You listening to who? You better, boy, get that out of here. They playing Earth, Wind and Fire, Gap Band, all that kind of shit. Michael Jackson. See, ain't no more of that. The grandmamas now and goddamn me, we all on video. I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling y'all how real this shit done become, all right? Don't think I'm telling you not to be on videos and kicking it with your babies. Don't go to saying that old kind of shit, you know, because some of y'all so fucked up, y'all just heard one thing and say, oh, he talking about people can't be having fun with their kids. Oh, see how fucked up y'all is? I'm just telling you how deep this shit is. The fact that you got to find some type of aspect of fun with your kids. That's what I'm saying. That's the only fun. You don't know how to be joyous within yourself. But it's only when your kids doing something that you want to do. See, I'm talking about, can you be happy within yourself by yourself? Do you need your kids to do it? Can your kids look at you and gain some type of happiness from you? Or do when they look at you, all they see is, I got to go get this money so I can make sure my mama's straight. I got to go get this money so I can make sure my dad is. And you just sit in the house arguing with each other all goddamn day. Or you sit in the house arguing with some nigga on the phone every goddamn day. Or you running some nigga in and out your house every goddamn day. Or you running some female in and out your house every goddamn day. Or running in and out of some female house every day and ain't worried about your kids. It's all type of dynamics that go with this shit. So I'm just telling y'all how real this shit is and how we now follow our kids. We literally follow our kids. Like we literally are so intertwined into being their friends to where we don't guide them anymore. And then we wonder why they fucked up. Because we're so busy trying to be friends. And then you wonder why your child doesn't respect you. You wonder why these boys saying, fuck this bitch, talking about your mama. You wonder why these young men are starting to literally disrespect their mothers in a way of, literally, I'm talking about cussing them out. I'm talking about in public, in whatever. I'm talking about young ladies that being disrespectful to their mamas because you haven't set that boundary because a part of you was deprived of a childhood so much that you just don't want to do that to your kids. So a part of you is crying out to try to do the best you can, but then a part of you is still missing the fact that they need another aspect of you. See, I knew I was only giving my kids my victim mode. See, I wasn't giving them my victorious self. See, I didn't know victory. All I know was victim. All I knew was survival. See, I had to take that away. So in order for me to take that away, see, it required for me to take myself away. See, in order for you to truly transform in this life, you have to lose every sense of yourself. In order for true healing to happen in your life, every sense of you has to go. And I want you to understand that this is not a process that should be something that's looked upon as something that you cannot do. When you heal yourself, you're not only healing you, you're healing 7 generations forward. The fact that you are 7 generations of your mother and 7 generations of your father. You are the essence of lineage of energy and karmic energy that walks with you, moves with you. You are the essence of, even as a child, you walked a certain way, you moved a certain way, and your family can look at you right now, walking down the street without you turning around and doing anything and say, that's my kinfolk, that's my sister, that's my mama, that's my whoever, just simply by the way you walk. See, this is the type of memory, this is the type of power that you are unaware that you have. So becoming in control of that aspect of every part of your mind, body, and soul, because you are a dimensional being. See, your healing begins to reveal so many layers of you that became suppressed from you when you were a child that you are unaware of now. See, this is why your darkness is so deep. This is why your hurt, this is why your pain is so deep, because as a child, you were removed from a divine essence of who you are. Nobody ever taught you that you were the sun. Nobody ever taught you that you were the moon. Nobody ever taught you that you were the stars. Nobody ever taught us this. Nobody ever taught you how to deal with your emotions. Nobody ever made you identify with something more than something physical. So therefore, you begin to live your life living for a soulmate. You begin to live your life living for a twin flame. You begin to live your life living for somebody to complete you. You begin to live in your life for a new car, for status. Because you don't know who or what you truly are and how vast your being truly is. Because there's a part of you that cannot be defined by anything physical. You get a new car, you want a better car. You get a new house, you want a bigger house. You get a boyfriend or a husband, you want a better boyfriend or husband. You get a girlfriend, you want a better boyfriend or girlfriend. You always want to upgrade because you are upgrade. See, you are something that is so dynamic, that is so powerful that nothing in this physical realm can define you nor fulfill you. Nothing. Nothing that you can think of. Nothing that you can fathom. Until you become connected to the source that dwells within you, you will not know what this fulfillment, you will not know what this longing truly is. That is the difference. What you seek is seeking you. See? The whole essence of your life, the whole essence of existence is happening within inside of you. Once you embrace this essence of existence from within you, you begin to realize that you've been living a lie. You've been living your life all wrong. Journey is once you go within. Once you go within, you're in a childhood. So many things begin to be revealed to you. Where shadow work comes into play. There's 22 people on this video. Second day of the second month. I want you all to understand that yesterday was the longest moon, the darkest moon, I should say, of the year. During this time of the year, the sun is making its way back into the atmosphere, and the moon is making her way away from us. Fire and ice is exchanging energy. These energies intertwined in a beautiful segue last night. There was an upsurge of energy that happened within you last night, whether you know it or not. See, the universal laws are always at play. The fact that people only taught us about man's law, the fact that people only taught us about how to obey the law, how to do all these things as a child, you began to be so suppressed. You began to wonder what your life is really supposed to be. Then you began to accept, like, this might be what life just is. This is how they did us. From a child, you went from wondering how beautiful life could be, and you could be a superhero, you could do this, you could fly, you could run, you could do all these beautiful things, you could build something, you could be whatever you wanted to be, to being what you had to be. Till just accepting life for whatever your life has equated to. Well, I might as well go and get this job, make a career out of it. Might as well go and do this and settle for this. The whole aspect of us settling for something means that you settle into life. Life is thriving. Once somebody removed that from us, a whole sense of our imagination, a whole sense of our intuition, a whole sense of being connected to something great that we couldn't explain, that all we could do was question, embracing our ignorance. As an adult, I always seen where a lot of people who thought they had some shit figured out. As we began to go to church, all we did was hear some bullshit about some big ass being in the sky that was supposed to help us figure shit out, and one that was under the goddamn ground that was gonna try to keep shit fucked up for us. So we've been removed from so much shit. And it all started from that dynamic of you being a child, because you were most impressionable as a child. Your mind was so open to anything that you saw, anything that you heard when you were a child. So all these cartoons and sexual connotations, all these cartoons that taught you about family, mama and daddy, giving our kids dolls when they 7 and 8 years old. We got our kids want to be mamas before they even know what it's like to be a damn teenager. See, we got our young men want to grow up and be a man before we even know what it's like to be a boy. And you wonder why we dealing with fucked up men running around there hurting women. Because a part of you, every man in this life, as a masculine energy, is seeking power. Every divine feminine energy, every woman is seeking love. If you never got those aspects in your life, you don't know what they mean for you. So you begin to search for them in a false sense of who you are. So there is no match made in heaven. I have to say that. The only thing that exists in your mind is the aspect of what you think heaven is. The fact that you think that you were born in this life and there was another person born to complete you shows that there's still a part of you that is lacking. Longing to be with something or someone that will never complete you. Only give you a false sense of who you are. I'm not telling you that relationships aren't beautiful. They can be dynamic. I want you to understand that the longest relationship you will have in this life is with yourself. I want you to understand that until you become valid and whole and complete within yourself, you being with someone else looking for them to do it is only going to leave you in a state of being disappointed, hurt, and in a cycle of allowing yourself to go through that shit over and over and over again. See, once you become the source of who you are, the source of your love, once you become valid and whole and complete within yourself, you become someone who becomes a gift for other people. See, love is something that you become. Love is not something that you do. Love is the essence of life within you that has been given to you, that keeps giving to you. Love is grace. Love is death, because death is life, and life is death. See, when you understand that life is life, and if you truly embrace the fact that this is only one level of this life you will live, if you truly embrace that for yourself right now in this life, that means that the next life that you live may be that much more beautiful. So don't keep allowing yourself to live this life as a prisoner of life. Learn to create your own wave in this life. Stop being crushed by the wave of life. See, we only watch people that were locked in the essence of survival mode. So our childhood traumas are so deeply embedded within us. So many people that have poured their own thoughts and their own fears and their own ways and their own ideals into our minds. So in order for you to truly find your own truth, in order for you to truly begin to build your own destiny, in order for you to truly begin to build your own legacy, you have to start living for yourself. And I'm telling you, it's the most powerful thing that you can do, because living for yourself means that you live for all things that are connected to you. See, I'm not just telling you to just go in a hole and it's all about you. See, I'm not talking about that sense of self. That sense of self that you first think about has to die in order for you to embrace the sense of self that I'm talking about. I'm talking about being a present. I'm talking about realizing that you can never give anything to anyone in this life. The whole thought process of somebody giving something, or somebody giving you something, or you giving somebody something, or whatever the case may be, is a whole foolish pride, a whole foolish reality. This whole thought process comes from you not realizing that you are the greatest gift in this life. Giving of yourself is giving. That is the only gift that you can give. The only thing you ever have in this life is you. You really don't even belong to you. Your body belongs to this earth. You don't belong to anyone, and no one belongs to you. See, the solution is healing. The solution is simple, if you allow it to be. Instead of allowing yourself to feel like you so dynamic and you so complex, that so many things that you've been through that nobody understands your pain. This might have worked for them, but it ain't gonna work for me because I've been through this. And yeah, okay, well, you can't tell me nothing if you ain't no doctor, you ain't this. So many excuses that we use instead of just being accountable for our own joy. We want to allow ourselves to be dependable on so many things. Suffering is something that becomes such a mindset that we can become so addicted to. And the most hard, I'm talking about, this shit can be such a traumatic thing to let go of suffering itself, because you start to feel like you can't give a damn about what you've been through. You start to feel like that a part of you has to let go of something. And I'm telling you, you do. Because in order for you to truly embrace healing, a part of you has to surrender. You gotta surrender. Something you got a question, brother?
Well, yeah, I want to. So I wanted to go and add, and what my thing was about childhood trauma is it like, because I used to think, was it the parents' fault because of how they send the mixed emotions? How do we get past those mixed emotions of, because some people are stuck on, oh, I didn't have that father, or my mother left me. how do we surpass that to move on? Because we can hold on to the problem and the issue. We know that as we identified that. How do we move past that and move forward? How do people do that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna just stop right there.
No.
How do we do that?
Excuse me. Powerful question. That's why I had to take us into a dynamic of realizing that we've all come through something. So if you really look at your parents' life, or if you really look at the fact that your parents did the best they can or best they could, blaming them is not the key to your healing. Blaming them is only going to keep you in an aspect of hurting. Because in that time when you're blaming your parents, a lot of us want explanations. A lot of us want, tell me why. A lot of us want closure. A lot of us, when we deal with our dynamic of our parents, especially coming to this healing journey, and I deal with this a lot too. A lot of people.
Well, and I tell people, if your parents are still alive, it's a beautiful thing for you. If you have been hurt traumatically by your parents and there's some pain you still carry around within you from your
parents, it could be a beautiful healing experience if you apply these certain things to this experience. You have to develop a level of compassion within yourself first. It makes you realize that whatever you went through, whatever you feel like that they neglected to do for you, or whatever you feel like that they didn't give to you, you have to realize that they didn't possess it for themselves. You have to realize that in that time, your mother, your father, whoever it is that hurt you, whatever you feel like they were lacking,
it meant that they lacked it for themselves. So they could not give you something that they didn't possess. So if your mother didn't know love and compassion, she couldn't give you true love and compassion. If all she knew was pain and getting cussed out, that's all she could give you. So if our
father knew was running away and abandonment, that's all he could give you. So if you look at the truth behind it and look at things for what they are and not for what you want them to be, they can leave you in a beautiful place. Now, you can be able to have these conversations only when you're ready to allow yourself to walk into the conversation, not needing an explanation for you. So this means that your healing has to be for you. See, it can't be for them. Your healing has to happen for you. See, a lot of us get caught up in, we hear these things and generational curses and, my mama don't want nobody want to heal, so I got to do this. No, you got to do this for you. See, your healing has to be so deep and so for you to the point that where when you go to these people and when you go meet them and when you go talk to them and, you
had these conversations about what hurt you, this has to be you getting your pain out. This can't be you looking for them to say, well, I understand that I hurt you and, I apologize. You have to be okay even if they say, fuck you. You have to be okay even if they say, get the fuck out of my face. You have to be okay even if your mama say she don't know what the fuck you about.
If you go to your mama and say, you know my daddy was raping me. You know my stepdaddy was raping me. You know my brother was raping me. You know my cousin was raping me. You know this was going on with me, but you didn't save me. You didn't stop it. You have to be in a place with these people if they play dumb. Because if you're not in that place, guess what's going to happen? It's going to trigger you, and it's going to make you feel like they got you fucked up again. It's going to hurt you all over again. See, you haven't healed yet. See, your healing has to happen for you. It can't happen for nobody else. See, the problem is when we begin to heal, we want everybody else to validate our healing. If you have your mother and your parents around, most of the time, the rift that you feel within them, because a part of you is still looking for that validation from them. You have to begin to give yourself that validation. See, this is why I tell people when you begin to reveal that and your mind can identify with that, you can heal that for yourself. You have to go back into that time and realize that you were looking for them to be something and do something that they could not do and be for themselves. When you come to that realization and you're true with it, and you truly understand that your expectations exceeded what they could give to you, it should leave you with the sense of knowing that it's okay to forgive them for you, even if they cannot forgive themselves. Because 9 times out of 10, when people lie, when people tell you, or they refuse to
apologize, or they refuse to acknowledge that they hurt you, or when they don't want to do those type of things, people are deflecting. That is guilt. So instead of, see, it hurts this person too much to say it was my fault. It hurts this person too much to say I hurt you. I'm hurt for you. It hurts this person too much to say I understand that I hurt you. But see, in that moment, if you have the compassion to say, you know what? I know you don't know how to forgive yourself. I know you don't know how to understand how much love that I have for you. The reason why I'm here right now talking to you. Because you got to be honest with yourself. The only reason you having this conversation is the fact that you love this person. If you didn't love this person, they wouldn't have such an effect on you. So that love is what you have to feed. See, you can't feed the hate. You have to feed that love. See, what is the connection? What is the truth there? What part of you wants to get over the hurt so you can get back to loving them? There's a part of you that wants to let go of the trauma so you can go back to loving them. See, give them that. See, that's what you want to give them in that space. And in that space, you have to give it to yourself first, and then you share it with them.
You know, I want to, why why so many people of our people, why they can't let go of that aspect? Because only letting go will help you get over the pain. Why is so many people holding on to hurt? I mean, because that's what they doing. They really holding on to hurt. So I want you to kind of speak. I want to.
Man, why do we? That's
why
beautiful.
do people hold on to hurt?
Why do
The
we hold on to
trauma?
pain?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful question because it has so many dynamics to it. A lot of different reasons to why people become so comfortable in that victim mode. Throughout your life, it starts again when we were a child, all right? When you were sick when you were young, all right? Think about how victim mode got you when you were young. Think about how many you didn't have to go to school when you were sick. People nurture you. You got soup or whatever the case may be when you were sick. Maybe you got to go to work with
grandmama or whatever the case may be. But when you were sick, you got paid a special kind of attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. When you were young, like if you were hurt or something happened to you, like you got paid like a special kind of attention. Like, don't do him like that, he's sick. Don't do her like that, she's sick. You get what I'm saying? So it's like now throughout your life,
being sick, all right, being the victim comes with perks. It comes with people checking on you. It comes with people understanding your pain. All right. It comes with an aspect of us living a life of trauma bonding. All right. So you begin this dynamic of as you grow up and you get older, your friends become the people that you can relate to the most. Right. See, your friends become the people who's been through the shit that you've been through. You can't relate to people who ain't been through the shit that you've been through. This is trauma bonding. See, we don't want to acknowledge it for what it is, but this is the truth behind it. This is some real shit. When you begin to acknowledge the fact that when you went to the nurse when you was in school, you probably got a chance to leave school. They're gonna call your mama or all the different shit. When you go to the hospital, think about the hospitals. Think about how powerful this shit is.
The programming that comes with this. The hospital, one of the most comfortable places you can be. All right. When you're in the hospital, think about even Facebook right now. How this dynamic is grouped. People are going through surgeries. People are experiencing cancer and all of this type of stuff. Traumatic, life-changing experiences that they are going through, but they're going live on Facebook.
They posting pictures and telling the world what's going on with them. A part of us loves the victim mode. See. A part of us loves to be the person in the story that everybody's talking about because that comes with perks. See, being a victim, it comes with cheerleaders. See, it comes with people who can cheer you on while you're in pain. People that can understand how much you've been hurting. See, because even throughout your life, even when you were hurting, like when you had a different type of sickness, we gonna send him with his daddy over there. If your daddy wasn't around, send you with uncle, or send you with granddaddy, or send you over here. Now he T26, send him over there with grandma. Or you received a certain kind of nurturing or a certain kind of energy depending on how sick you were. Now, this is the whole dynamic that we're still coming to when people are the so-called being woke type shit. The reason why people are still playing sleep. This is why I say people play sleep. Because the information is out there for people to
stay woke. Like it ain't no reason why you shouldn't understand what to eat right. It ain't no reason why you shouldn't understand how to heal yourself. It ain't no reason why you shouldn't understand that you are dealing with some traumatic shit, that you got some things you need.
There's a lot of things, the dynamics or knowledge out there to show us that what we're dealing with is deep. But why ain't so many people adopting this shit? Why do so many words like cognitive dissonance happen? But why do we have a dynamic of people saying, y'all too woke? Or you know what I'm saying? See, that lets you know that motherfuckers is too sleep. See, you know how even when you were growing up, when you didn't want to go to school and you knew everybody from the coming there, like you wanted to play sleep. Like you knew it's 7 o'clock. So you want to get the extra little 5 minutes. That's why we got grown folks right now. Your alarm clock by 3 different damn alarms on. You never get up when it's time for you to get up. You always want an extra 10 or 15 minutes, see, because you being dragged through life. See, this is what this victim mode do to us. When you allow yourself to stay in victim mode, life gonna drag your ass, see, because now it feels good to be dragged because you get all these scars. You get to wear your pain as a badge. You know what I'm saying? You get to tell people I've been through this, I've been hurt, and I know what it's like to try to love, and I sacrifice myself, and all this different shit that comes with being a victim. So now as life is dragging your ass, you don't know what it's like to get up. Because getting up, when you get up, it's like, okay, you strong enough to handle it. See, being strong come with a different
dynamic with us. Being strong come with a different feeling. Because the strong people ain't the ones that get checked on. See, I even see posts that say, check on your strong people, check on your strong friends. Don't nobody check on them. See, this is how so you saying we separating the weak from the strong? So that means that some people are admitting the fact that they are weak, and some people are saying that
people are much stronger than them. Well, you can deal with this better than me. I can't deal with this. See, we adopt this shit so quick and so easy as a mindset. Because I'm telling you, as a child, somewhere along the line, somebody made you feel good about being a victim because you was gonna get looked out for. See, somebody made you realize, like even in school, think about how they promote it in society. If you came up in a tough ass childhood, if you came up in something that's like in a dynamic of the hood, they got all these success stories. See, where you think these success stories come from? Oh man, he made it, man. His mama was on crack. They glorify the suffering.
We glorify suffering. See, to the point to where we are addicted to suffering. We share traumatic stories. The news shows suffering. Everything that we know equates to suffering. If we can't say that you suffer, we're going to say, if you ain't been through no suffering, people say that you ain't lived. If people will actually say, if you ain't been through nothing in your life, you don't know what life is. This is how much power we give suffering, to the point to where we judge people based off how much suffering you've been through. You get what I'm saying? Like this is some real shit.
To the point that we've adopted this whole victim mindset. This is why we go to church every Sunday looking for victory. See? This is why the story of Jesus becomes the hero. This is why all of this becomes the hero. Who are you saving yourself from? What are you saving? What do you need saving from? You need saving from your suffering, your trials, your tribulations. All this equates to you awakening. All this equates to you adopting something else so you can become something else. How can you overcome your suffering? How can you overcome? We must overcome? We shall overcome. This whole suffering mindset, this shit has been replayed over and over and over into our minds, to the point that where everything that we do becomes survival. This is why we're locked in survival mode, brother. If that whole question is this why I said there's so many dynamics to it. Because if you look out through our life, we get rewarded when we suffer. You get rewarded when you come through suffering. To the point to where your whole life is equated to it's not going the way you want it to. So now you're suffering. So this suffering mindset, this victim mindset, it's some real shit that we all got to deal with. Is because the only reason why you feel so victimized is because you measure yourself by something. This whole measurement of something leaves you feel like you're inadequate. This inadequateness equates to your suffering because you feel like your life is inadequate. You feel like you haven't equated anything to your life. You haven't done anything with your life. You haven't accomplished enough with your life. Just being alive is not enough for you. You don't know what it means to be successful because your idea of success was given to you from the TV, from the books, from the goddamn athletes, from the football players, from all of this shit. So everything that you can't equate to this becomes to you suffering now. You get what I'm saying? So this chaotic mind state, this whole aspect of being a victim allows people to stay in a place of getting the perks. They got programs when you're a victim. All right. They got all type of shit. When you can go sign up for when you hurting or when you ain't got no money. They got all these things to make you feel so inadequate. Even when you're down, they have things to make you suffering to the point to where shit, I ain't suffering like them. I ain't doing bad as them. Even when we was growing up in the hood, now we got kids talking about other kids because they got on Jordans and they don't. See, suffering is a mindset. You don't actually suffer. See, this is what I say when I talk about removing suffering from the self, because you have to want to remove victim mode first. See? You got to want to remove all that shit that comes with what you call suffering, because this is why we want our kids, why we want everybody else around us to recognize our worth, because a part of us is suffering, because a part of us doesn't know our own worth. So the only reason why you're suffering, the only reason why you're in a place of feeling like you're hurting or you're suppressed is because a part of you doesn't know who you are. A part of you is too attached by the way people see you, the way you think that people look at you, the way you think that people feel about you, the way you think that you measure up to all the titles that you have. If you can't buy this for your kids, it equates to another aspect of suffering. If you can't get no dick, if you can't get no pussy, it equates to another aspect of suffering. If you can't, goddamn me, eat tonight, it equates to another aspect of your suffering. If somebody gives you
all of these things, if somebody gave you, if somebody said to you, I'll take away all your troubles, I'll make sure that you have somewhere to stay, you'll have somewhere to eat for the rest of your life, your kids will be straight, you don't have to worry about anything, I'll sit you down, you don't got to pay another bill for the rest of your life. All I'm asking you to do is stay in this house. You can't go nowhere. I'm gonna give you everything you need. You can just stay in this house. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm telling you, everything taken care of. Like your kids, you got 3 kids out now, they all going to college. They all gonna live a good life. Don't even worry about it. Okay, you got what? Your mom, your dad. Okay, we're gonna buy them both a house. We're gonna put them up. We're gonna make sure they're straight. They'll never worry about money again. Okay, but what about this? Okay, all that's took care of. We're gonna take care of all of that. Don't worry about nothing. Nobody. Everything is taken care of. I just need you to go sit in this house, and you can't go nowhere for the rest of your life. You understand what I'm saying?
That innate want inside of you, ain't nothing for physical gonna fulfill it. So you out there trying to make sure your kids happy. You out there trying to make sure your mama happy. You out there trying to make sure you stay at this job. You out there trying to make sure you keep this house. You trying to make sure you eat good every night. You trying to make sure you eat steaks. You wear Jordans. You wear Prada, Gucci, Louis, whatever the case may be. All for nothing, because it doesn't equate to your true essence of your happiness. You can have all that shit and it won't be enough for you. You're going to still want more. You got to understand where that wanting more is coming from. Because if you keep being suppressed by all those things, you will never touch the essence of life that is happening inside of you that will allow you to blossom from all of those things. See, this is why you cannot die twice in this life. Because a lot of us think that our death is going to equate to a freedom from our suffering. It's going to only begin for you. I promise you that. If you think that life or death is going to equate to the end of your suffering, if you've ever seen somebody die, if anybody on this feed or who watches this feed, you ever seen somebody die, you look into their eyes, and if they were afraid of death, you saw it. You saw it. I've seen it. If they didn't want to die, you saw it in their eyes. They didn't want to die. They wish that they wasn't dying. Do you want to die with that feeling? Like, be honest with yourself. Do you want to die a victim of life?
Do you want to die a victim of life? Do you want to die with the feeling of despair in your eyes? Do you really want to die with a look of you not wanting to die? That you didn't live a fulfilled life? That no matter how many cars, no matter how many houses, no matter how many bitches, how many niggas, no matter how many whatever the fuck you had, did, spent, no matter, none of that shit won't matter. Have you lived a fulfilled life? What is this fulfillment? You have to remove the aspect of you being a victim from yourself in order for you to understand what this sense of fulfillment is. Because there is an innate need for you, or a linkage in you, or a connection within you that should make you victorious even after death, divine. In order for you to embrace this now, you must simply embrace not dying twice. So let go of everything that you think equates to your suffering. It is only your mind that has not yet to embrace the fact that you create all things in this life. There's nothing that you cannot create if you simply put your energy towards it and your focus. The reason why you can't focus because you're too worried about doing too many other things for everybody else except your goddamn self. That's what your suffering equates to. Trying to be somebody, trying to live up to an image, trying to prove your worth. See, that's your suffering.
So, okay, bro. Yeah, let me. I'm kind of trying to grab it back. Battery kind of caught me.
I'm good.
But
Good.
so I wanted to. That you did make a good point because it's a lot. So what do you think about? Is it too people just not accepting, taking because of the responsibility of knowing the truth?
Man, that's powerful too.
Because when you know the truth, you have to do something about it.
Mhm.
Like if you know somebody is stealing your car, or somebody's taking out your purse, or somebody taking out your wallet, or your boss is taking from your check, you ain't gonna just sit there and let that happen. You're gonna do something about it. You got to do something about it. Know that it needs to be done.
Right.
Is it the part of not accepting the hurt and the trauma? Is that a part of not taking the responsibility? Is it that part of it? I don't know.
That's a beautiful question, brother. And I got to take us back to our childhood, all right? Because what were we taught when we were taught how to deal with our emotions? All right? This I'm gonna tell you, I'm taking y'all somewhere with this. When you were taught as a child on how to deal with your emotions, either you were taught to suppress them.
That's right.
All right? This is what we were taught as children.
That's right.
Either you were taught to suppress them, or you had to go tell an adult how you felt, or somebody was doing something bad to you, or whatever the case may be. Even when you went to that adult, all they wanted to know was, how do you feel? See, think about this. You trying to tell them was you don't know how you feel. See, nobody ever explained to us what guilt was. Nobody has ever explained to us why we felt ashamed. Nobody ever explained to us what lust was. Nobody ever explained to us what these things. All we got was an idea and a concept of what they meant to other people. All right. Now, the reason why I had to bring that into play because throughout your life, your emotions equate to your energy and motion. All right. The reason why this is so powerful of a dynamic of a question is because understanding what is keeping you from allowing yourself to deal with this responsibility of your emotions, of how you feel. That's basically what this question boils down to. What is keeping you from saying that I'm responsible for protecting me? I'm responsible for honoring my emotions. I'm responsible for saying how I feel. I'm responsible for loving myself. I am responsible for honoring myself. I am responsible for making sure that I am whole, I am complete. I am responsible for making sure that I live a whole and complete life. I am responsible for making sure that I am joyous. What is keeping you from doing this? Nobody ever taught you how to do it. Everybody always taught you how to suppress your emotions because you got to survive. You were never taught how to deal with how to love yourself. You were never taught how to deal with how to be strong for yourself. Every aspect of this became
you doing it for something or somebody else or a task. See, either you had to work hard, that shows your responsibility. You have to take out the trash, that shows your responsibility. All right, you got to goddamn me wash the rake the leaves or whatever the case may be. How
responsible you were became equated to how many tasks you could complete. All right, I'm taking y'all somewhere. Listen to me now. Your whole essence of when you think responsibility, you're going to think about your kids, you're going to think about your bills, you're going to think about all the stuff you got to do. You think this is your responsibility. This is what you think it is. Why? Because you watched somebody else who told you or taught you
or showed you through their actions. This is what responsibility means. As a man, you got responsibilities. As a woman, you got certain responsibilities. That's what they taught us. All right? This is what we've been taught as children. Okay? Now, what is the truth behind responsibility? Why is it such an illusion? Why is it something so hard for us to grasp? Why do we have to need so many other dynamics in order for
us to know what responsibility is for us? The reason why is because true responsibility is your responsibility. Understand what I'm telling you. Understand what I'm about to tell you all. This is your responsibility. Your ability
to respond to life. This is what your responsibility truly is. Break the word down. How do you respond to life? What is your ability to respond to life? See, how do you respond to external situations internally?
See, do you grasp that? How do you respond, or how do you allow yourself to feel
about outside situations within yourself? How do they affect you? How do they affect the way you move, the way you act? See, what is your
responsibility to life? See, not this physical task. So first, I just want you all to understand the dynamic on how this word and how the whole essence of
has been flipped inside out. Because in this life, you are the only foundation for anything that you want to create. Anything that you want to create, if it can't stand on you, it ain't gonna last. Tell me I'm lying. If you couldn't hold it up within yourself, eventually you fold it and it folds it too.
It ain't about no right or wrong in this life. It's not about what you do right or what you do wrong. It's about how good do you do it. See? How good can you do what you're doing? That equates to how successful it becomes.
How much balance can you bring? First, this balance has to happen within yourself. So this responsibility equates to now you allowing yourself to understand that your responsibility to life, your ability to deal with external things is what's fucking with you. Your ability to deal with
outside shit is what's really got you fucked up. This the shit that's really keeping you suffering. This the shit that's really keeping you in victim mode because you don't know how to deal with everything outside of you. You don't know how to not allow it to deal with you. So you being crushed by the wave of life instead of riding the wave of life or creating your own wave of life. What changes a person who's successful?
A person whose mind breeds suffering to a person whose minds breed things that become successful. What changes the person from a suffering mindset from a mindset of a millionaire? Where is your focus? People who suffer focus on what they lack.
People who suffer focus on what they do not have. People who suffer focus on being a victim. See, they don't take life by the reins. See? So this is a mindset. See, and this is why even within the mindset of suffering, people can get into a place
being successful and having the money, and their mindset can go back to suffering again. Because if you're not stable within yourself, your suffering never leaves you, only your surroundings change. See? Your surroundings change because your suffering was equated to something physical. And once you change that, you said that you didn't suffer anymore. But once you got all the riches, once you got all the houses, once you got all the hoes, once you got all the cars, once you got all the whatever the case may be, you still was fucked up. You still wasn't right. So this suffering is a mindset. So the reason why a lot of people don't want to become accountable or they don't want to heal is because they lack the responsibility to life, because their responsibility is lack or lies in their responsibilities. They want to allow themselves to be defined by the things that they can do and the things that they cannot, keep them suppressed. The things they cannot do, the things that they feel like that are measuring themselves, they are measuring themselves by, keep them in a place of being disconnected, of not feeling whole, not feeling measured, not feeling
like they're fulfilling something. So a lot of people, even in the spiritual journey, move into an aspect of looking for certain things to determine their worth. And that's why I tell people there are no trophies for this. You're not going to get any trophies for loving yourself. See, the whole problem is we got people in the spiritual community
that are moving into an aspect, and you think your spirituality is about receiving some type of badge for you loving yourself and everybody else not. This lets you know that you fell in love with your ego and you didn't fall in love with your true self. I'm gonna say that again. You fell in love with your ego and you didn't fall in love with your true self, because you need to remove
that part of you first before you can know what it means to truly love who you are. Because when you love who you are, this is loving yourself in a selfless manner, not a selfish manner. See, you understand? So this whole mindset of suffering and being accountable, you first have to question the way you view, the way you think about responsibilities. And you have to honor the fact that you don't know how to respond to certain situations. And you have to honor the fact that certain situations do control you. Certain things
trigger you. Certain people do trigger you, make you feel some type of way. You have to honor these things for yourself. And these, when you honor your triggers, see, this is what shadow work and all this does for you. When you begin to honor what's triggering you, you can allow yourself to heal from it. When you begin to honor the fact that, okay, I heard that fucks with me when I heard it. That fucks with me when I read that. Why does that fuck with me? So you begin to question, why do I feel the way I feel? Why is this happening to me? What does this mean for me? You know what I'm saying? So when you begin to really go deeper into yourself and you begin to realize that you are your worst critic, you are the root of your suffering, your mindset, it's always been you versus you. You have become your own worst enemy. You are the weapon that is formed against you that is prospered. See, once you realize that all these things have become a truth in your life, you could begin to change them from the aspect of your ignorance.
Okay, so now I want to kind of take this somewhere else. Well, it's not gonna go somewhere else. It's gonna stay in the same realm. Um, because I want to look at the of the trauma in the situation around Dwayne Wade, you know, the basketball player, the situation with his son,
Okay.
you know, and taking him and that's what do you feel with, you know, with him being a black male, uh we already know that, you know, it's a lot of control over people behind imagery. So how do you feel? You know, how do you feel about that? You know, what is that? You know, because that's a child within itself. Now, this is your parent. This is a parent saying that he's gonna let his son be a girl. You know, I don't know. I mean,
it's a it's a very touchy subject.
right.
I know it is because a lot of people are wrapped up in it.
Yeah, we gotta touch on
Yeah,
it.
I mean, hey, I'm here for it all.
Right.
I just really want us all to, I got to paint a certain picture before I take people into a certain place of thinking.
Right.
So I want us all to understand that this whole dynamic of what we think about this transgender community.
I mean, when we think about this whole dynamic of why is this even being glorified? These are the questions that we should be asking us.
What we question, we ask ourselves, why are these things relevant? Why are we even talking about these things? Why is it that a famous athlete's son has to be the face of these things? See, these are the questions that I ask myself before I actually judge people. I make certain observations. You know what I mean? So when it comes to people's sexual orientation, like me personally, I don't give a damn what you do. It's your
choice. Now, when it comes to this dynamic of children and knowing how fragile children are, and understanding that there's a lot of things at play when you watch this. There's a lot of different layers.
When you honor the fact that This is a young man growing up in America who's the son of an athlete or whatever the case may be. He's coming under a different dynamic, another spotlight. So I kind of have a lot of sympathy for the young man. I really do. In all of this that we're talking about, he's the one that is going to be most affected by all of this, obviously. So his life will never be the same. That's obvious. His life will never be the same after this. But that's just to say the least. Now, if you really look at the way this is really played out and how this is really moved into the space that it is right now, they done a poll last year for the LGBT community, and it showed that amongst the youth, that percentages were dropping amongst approval. So within this, it tells you something. The whole dynamic of us being suppressed and controlled just came with a lot of mind manipulation. This whole dynamic of homosexuality. I have two daughters that are gay. And I say that, I don't say it with pride. I just say it truthfully. See, there's a difference. A lot of us are putting pride behind too many things, and it's got a lot of us fucked up. People are prideful about titles, and that's really the main thing that got a lot of people into the dynamic that we are dealing with now. But that's the same issue that we're dealing with now because of the ego being attached to all these titles, and when you feel threatened by this title, you want to defend it. So people are standing up, people are speaking out, people are saying, he needs to be defended. He's a child, he still wears the title of a child. All these different dynamics. Understanding that this whole thought process has been played upon us by allowing our sexual nature to rule us. I want you all to understand something about lust. Lust is our most powerful demon. Lust in this life takes so many forms. Lust can be so many different things. You can lust for people, you can lust for sex, you can lust for food, you can lust for a cigarette, you can lust for a hat, you can lust for some shoes, car. Anything that you desire outside of you that completes you begins to be a lustful energy. So this is dynamic when I speak on lust, all right? The fact that we deal with kids who are 11, 10, 8, 7, 6 years old, and they have begun to become victims of this lustful energy, it lets you know where we're headed in the society, all right? Beyond the dynamic of this young man trying to figure out who he is, he's dealing with a lustful energy that's going to take many forms throughout his life. So right now, he's being taught to take heed to this energy at any time that he feels the need to do so. Feeling the need to live up to titles and be a certain thing. And to be encouraged to do this by your parents. It just shows where we are as a society. It doesn't show me anything about Dwayne Wade, to be honest with you. It shows me where we are as a society because he's not the only parent dealing with that. He's not the only parent that is raising a child that is trying to identify with the way they feel emotionally and physically about the opposite sex or the same sex. He's not the only person that is raising his child in that mindset or in that essence of trying to find themselves. So what does this mean? If we have him, his son as the face, and your child is dealing with this, and your child in the back room trying to figure out what they dealing with, and your child ain't had that conversation with you, I'm going to take y'all there. Your child ain't had that conversation with you, and all your child doing is hiding that from you, and they keeping it secret from you, and they watching porn on their phone, and you don't know it, going to school, having these conversations. Who do you think is influencing your child to make the next move? What do you think is influencing your child to make the next decision? It ain't you, because you are wrapped up in also what Dwayne Wade baby is doing, instead of paying attention to what your own child is doing. See, for me, all of this diversion, this is distraction. Because if you are being taken away from your own child suffering, and you're more worried about what Dwayne Wade's son is doing, see, that's the trick for me. See, for me, that's enough of the trick, because it's removing you from what you need to be focused on. See, so a lot of us have our own issues in our houses, where our own children are dealing with their sexual nature, and you worried about what Dwayne Wade doing with his son. See, this is all diversion tactics when I look at it. You get what I'm saying? So To me, what Dwayne Wade does with his son and how he raises his son should have no bearing on what you do with yours. What it should do is to let you know to guard your energy from the masses and what they're trying to program these kids into being. It should make your antennas go up. It should make you say, no, I don't think I need to get my baby away from this TV because I don't know what direction they're taking this stuff in. See, it should let you know and make you aware of the program. If you look at the division, how it's created, now you got rappers talking about it. Now you got all these people talking about what's going on. Everybody talking about what the fuck they doing except what's going on in your own house, in your own immediate vicinity. So govern yourself
accordingly. Why you worried about what? Dwayne Wade is rich. Dwayne Wade is famous. Dwayne Wade is a star. Do you think he actually give a damn about how you feel? Do you think Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are sitting at home fucked up about the way the public feels about the way they raising their child? I guarantee them, Lil Zaria or whatever the fuck gonna be getting his nail done and hair done tomorrow. Gonna get the best nail technicians. Gonna get the best. Gonna have the best Sweet 16 party that they can buy them. And they're gonna make it all public. And now they coming out with a TV show for them. Now they got a TV show. Guess who's gonna be tuned in? Guess who's gonna be tuned in? Guess who the audience is?
That's the play.
So what are we dealing with here? What does this mean for you? Why is this even a story? Why is this even something that you worried about? See, it's the whole hook and bait. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have you hooked on something with these celebrities, and they got celebrity news. I challenge everybody to do something. This is some shit you grew up doing, too. Childhood shit. Her and your mama talk about everybody else at work. Her and your daddy talking about all this other shit, right? Her and everybody else talking about everybody else around you. I challenge you to go throughout your day and not have a conversation or not be involved in a conversation that's talking about somebody else. See, gossip has become the new form of communication because even throughout our life, think about it. Bad news used to beat you home. Think about that shit. If you fucked up, everybody knew you fucked up before you even got home. Like, motherfuckers, he going down the street. Yeah, I know that he got in trouble in school. Everybody on the goddamn street knew you fucked up. Everybody you passed by, uncle calling you, mama calling you. Hey, boy, I heard you was I fucked up in school today. Now, that ain't the type of shit we hear about. Because we have parents that are now mad at the teachers. The teacher called. See, I'm gonna tell you how they removed all of this shit. Because when you dealing with this whole dynamic, worried about Dwayne Wade now. Your child is at school all goddamn day and ain't at home with you enough. And then when they are at home with you, all you doing is wanting them to sit down and shut the fuck up. You don't even want to deal with your kids. And you worrying about how the teachers want to deal with them too? So your kids are being raised by social media and Dwayne Wade now. See, your kids are being raised by YouTube and Dwayne Wade now. Lil Wayne now. The rappers now. And you wonder why they fucked up. You wonder why they fucked up. Because they sitting up watching you talk about it. Girl, you see what Dwayne Wade, son, and Gabrielle Union had on some shit today, and I don't know what was her problem. And they dressing that baby any kind of way. And yo, this is what your babies hear you talking about. And then you go in their room, and this is what they talking about. This is what they watching. And why you ain't watching? Why you ain't doing your homework? And all this old shit. You ain't worried about what they doing. As long as they ain't fucking with you. Because you so wrapped up in somebody else's reality. This is what reality TV has done to us now. All these housewives of Atlanta, you want to grow up and a part of you want to be Dwayne Wade. A part of you wish you can at least give your son or do for your son what Dwayne Wade is doing. A part of you might want a Gabrielle Union. Right. See, a part of you want this shit. A part of you want what they already have. That's why they show you them. So, of course, you measuring your child by this now. Don't be running around here acting like no Zaria. Don't be running. You ain't, listen, you was a boy. Now you're encouraging, now you pushing your shit on your child based off the shit that you saw on TV. You see how easily influenced you are? All of a sudden, you want to talk about homosexuality and being gay when your son or your daughter been dealing with this shit for years now? They've been dealing with this shit for years, but all of a sudden it's relevant to you. They've been going through this shit at school, trying to figure out who they are sexually and watching all this shit and seeing and hearing all this shit.
But since you heard Dwayne Wade and them talking about it, now you want to ask your son or your daughter about it, and how you want to make sure they ain't gay. What you think you're going to influence them to be? Man, why is it so much hype about not being gay? What is it so fucked up about being gay? The mind works in a fucked up way. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. When your intelligence turn, when your mind begins to flip on you, like your shit begins to work in reverse. Like you heard something, you like, that's why somebody tell you something good, like somebody tell you beautiful. No, I ain't beautiful. They just don't know. My hair ain't done. Your mind will reverse it. If somebody looks at you and say, "Oh, you look beautiful today," boy, you lying. My hair ain't done. So I ain't got my hair. And your mind just gonna reverse the situation. Your mind reverse the same way when you dealing with a child. Don't be gay. Don't be this. When you telling somebody don't be something, what you think your mind is thinking? That's all it's thinking about is what you said don't be. Your mind go to reverse and trying to figure out what that shit. Why they saying don't be this? So now you're making your child curious about what it means to be transgender. They want to go look up the word, asking their friends about it, what it means to be gay. Have you ever thought about being with a boy? See, these are the type of conversation that these kids, I'm telling you, I worked in the schools. I done heard them. I done been sitting in the room so quiet, they didn't even know I was in that motherfucker. Little boy holler and tell a little girl, "Can you suck my dick?" They was in the first grade. Little boy asked a little girl in the first grade, "Can you suck my dick?" And the little girl looked at him and laughed. So guess what that meant? She heard it before. See? She heard it before. So I'm telling you that in your mind, I'm going to tell you how powerful. Oh, I'm going to take you out there too right quick. Because we're talking about these kids, and I'm going to touch on this, brother. The incident about the young man that killed his mother's fiance.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
This young man killed his mother's fiance. Right. And I know my brother, he had a beautiful story that he told me about his childhood about this. When you're dealing with this as a young man, and you grow up watching your mama not have a boyfriend, you listen to your mama tell you that you the man of the house. You ain't gonna be this type of man. Mama love you, and kissing on you and hugging on you. And you sleeping with your mama all the way till you 11 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old. Your adolescence starting to kick in. Your little thing getting hard. You don't know why. You know you can't look at your mama like that because everybody telling you that ain't right. But a part of you love your mama in such a way to where you don't want to see her with no other man. I'm going to tell y'all how real this shit is. Y'all got y'all kids, the young men sleeping with y'all, telling them how much of a man they is, telling them how much you love them, how good of a man they gonna be. All this old shit. You hear me? Now, when you go to pushing them to play football, oh yeah, pushing them to play basketball, pushing them to do all of this shit, what you think your son wants to do? Save you. Save you. Whether it's mama or whether it's dad, I don't give a damn. Your kids grow up wanting to save you. They grow up wanting to do things for you that they watch you never do. They grow up wanting to buy you things that they watch you never have. Then it's all right with us. It's all right with us because we watched our parents suffer, and a part of us wanted to do the same thing for our mama and our daddy or whoever brought us up because we felt like we got to repay them this way. They done so much. They sacrificed so much because in our mind, they told us, "I'm going to work for you. My whole life stopped for you." My mama used to tell me she wanted to be a police officer. My mama used to tell me she wanted to be a nurse. My mama used to tell me she wanted to be all these things. But I had you, son. But I had you. And be like, "Damn, mama, you could have been so many things, but you got pregnant with me." So you know what, mama, when I make it in football, when I make it to the NFL, mama, I got you. You ain't gonna worry about shit. Mama, I'm telling you, when I make it in football, I'm telling you, I'm buying you that car. Mama, don't worry about no man. You don't need no man. You good. You heard me? By the time I was goddamn me 12 years old, and my mama finally got a new man, and goddamn me, and I'm looking at it like, okay, what the fuck is going on? She got a man now. Who is this nigga? You hear me? In my mind, I'm like, who is this nigga? Then a nigga come talking to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, Rick, my partner Rick, man, you know what I'm saying? He cool with me right now, and I love him to life, you hear me? But I was a youngster, and I was from the street, so I'm like, nah, who this nigga think he is? Fucking with my mom. I had already watched niggas beat on my mom. I had already watched my mama deal with certain niggas. I'm like, nah, man, I'm older now.
Nigga, like I got a little hype with me now, nigga. I done bought my first gun, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't tell me shit. Nigga, I'm shooting pistols at 12. Like, nigga, I'll bust you in your motherfucking ass, nigga. Like, y'all don't give a damn how old you is. You hear me? Like, this the whole mind. 12 years old, I got this mindset. And I'm looking at my mama boyfriend like this. This the nigga she done fell in
love with. And I'm like, man, that nigga better not get out of line. My mama, I'll kill this bitch ass. Like, this how I'm thinking. Telling my partners, like, man, nigga put his hands on my mama for him, tell you. Whatever. Man, they probably ain't thinking about doing this shit to my mama. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just wishing a nigga would. You hear me? Like, I think I'm grown. My mama told me that this was her boyfriend, and we moved into some apartments because we was flooded down on Doris, all right? We were flooded on Doris.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up, baby boy. So we flooded on Doris Street, and we moved in with my aunt. So we moved in with my aunt out here, you know what I'm saying? And my mama invited her boyfriend over. So I was sleeping with her at that time, you hear me? Because we had done moved with my auntie, and now we was all in the same room. So me and my mama sleeping together. But that night, she was like, nah, baby, you got to go sleep on the couch. I'm like, what? Now, remind you, I'm like 11 at this time. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, sleep on the couch. Why? And she didn't tell me why. You heard me? I'm going to tell you what this shit, I'm going to tell you some real shit. She didn't tell me why. But so she said, well, go on, go sleep on the couch. Well, let's do what the fuck I said. Don't worry about why. So I go on there, I'm on the couch. I'm mad. I want to sleep with my mom. Like, damn, why she telling me I can't sleep with her? I'm 11 years old, y'all. I'm mad because
my mama don't want me to sleep with her. I'm really hot. So now I'm like, okay, all right, she might be whatever. I ain't no tripping. I don't know what's wrong with her, but whatever. Next thing you know, her.
I'm like, who is it? Here she come. Don't worry about who at that door. She opened the door. It's my little brother, Daddy. You heard me? I'm like, but she hadn't had my little brother yet, but it's her boyfriend at the time. You heard me? So I'm like, oh, she put me out the bed for this nigga? Straight up. I'm like, oh, she, for real? So you finna let him in the room with you? I'm like, y'all better not. I already know what y'all finna do. At this time, I already knew what fucking was.
I done had my first little piece. You hear me? I already know what this is. You hear me? I know what he coming over here to do. I'm growing up in the hood. My uncle and them, my dad and them, they like, man, that boy shit came over there late at night, boy. You already knew what it was, boy.
Man, I'm all these thoughts running through my mind. Next thing you know, I heard a bed in there. What? This nigga done fucking my mom. Oh, I'm gonna kill this nigga. Oh, hell no. Straight up. I'm in the living room going fucking crazy. I'm looking for my gun, my cousin rifle. He had a 410 shotgun, single shot. You heard me?
Everybody. I found that 410, but I couldn't find the bullet. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucked up right now. Like, this nigga here fucking my mama. Man, you heard him fucking my mama, man. I'll kill you, nigga. I'm telling you.
I don't know if I'd have found that bullet, what I would have done. But I'm just telling y'all, I never looked at that man the same after that night. You understand what I'm telling you? So your kids are watching you do this shit, and so you tell them you my man, you telling them this, and then you finally get a man. You finally get somebody that can do something for you that your son know he can't do. And then the next time you know, when you get up and find out that this man
is hurting you, and you ain't right, and you feeling some type of way, and now your son or your daughter or whatever the case may be, watching you hurt now. And they know that this person is the source of your pain. They know that this person has hurt you. What do you think this is doing to them? See, we got the
about what we're allowing our kids to watch us grow through and go through, because they are growing and they're growing through our same experiences. Like, this is some real shit that we are up against, because that young man killed his mother's fiance, and now the mother is saying that she wants him dead. She wants the death penalty. She don't care. He knew what he was doing. I'm telling you, he did know what he was doing. I'm telling you that he was fully aware that he was going to kill that nigga. I'm just asking you to ask yourself why. What part of this young man felt like this man was competition for him? What part of this young man felt like that he didn't want this man pleasing his mama? What part of this young man, because she said they was going to put him out, all right? We raising these kids and then we shelter them. And then you want them to get older and go out and live a life after you've waited on them hand and foot.
after you told them all these things about who they are. And now you want them to go out and live without you. After you become such a crutch for them. They become such a crutch for you. You needed your child's love. You needed them to appreciate your suffering. You needed them to appreciate your hard work. See, that's why when they don't do it, it fucks you up. So this shit is so deep within us. There's so many things that we have to realize that we have been victims of, and it has kept us in this victim mode, especially when we try to remove that mindset and know what it means to heal yourself and know what it means to allow yourself to purge those situations and understanding what it means for you to go back into your inner childhood and realize just how much of you has been suffering so long in your life from that place in your life. Because the suffering started a long time ago. It didn't start when you were adult. That shit didn't happen when you got grown. It didn't happen then. That shit happened a long time ago when you had to suppress yourself, when you had to find out that you couldn't be a certain way around everybody else. You had to act a certain way. You had to be a certain way. You had to feel a certain way. You had to think a certain way. You had to believe a certain way. You had to eat a certain way. You had to dress a certain way so you won't get talked about. All these other things, all these dynamics that are deeply embedded within us from when we are children that are haunting us as adults right now. So we got a bunch of hurt people running around and hurting people. I'm trying to make it a man or a woman thing. This is a people thing. This has nothing to do with you being a man. It has nothing to do with you being a woman. As an individual, we are all hurting in some aspect, in one form or another. Some part of our childhood, some part of us has to be able to recover from that place within ourselves. And going within is how I like to help people find the aspect on where to recover that part of you that has been lost and so suppressed for so long. So that's what I'm here to do. Help us all go within and think about things in a different light, in a different manner, to see yourself in a different light, in a different manner. Because you are powerful and you are divine. There's nothing in this life that you cannot accomplish. There's nothing in this life that you cannot have. You can have anything you want in this life. I'm just telling you, don't be so intertwined into doing it. The true law of attraction is not needing anything to complete you. This is the true law of this attraction. Once you truly embrace the fact that you don't need a car, you don't need a car, you don't need a house, you don't need money, you don't need all these things, that they're all tools, they're all vehicles, they're all things that you can get and create over and over again. But the only thing that you cannot get and the only thing that you cannot recreate is your life. That's it. You cannot recreate this. That inside of you, that's the only thing you can't recreate. So that's what you should cherish the most. That's what you should cultivate the most of. Everything else outside of you, you can make more kids. I'm telling you some real shit. You can buy more houses. You can get more cars. You can get a different job. All that shit can be recreated. You cannot. But what you can be is transformed. Be ye transformed. See? So do you want change or do you want transformation? That is the question.
Yeah. It's a lot of things that I really want to talk about, but you really had hit on it when you said that it was a distraction, because that's basically what it was about to do. Anyway, we spend a lot of time, focusing on other things besides self, because it's so hard to look at self. You know, why are we as a people steady holding us back? Why are we steady pulling each other down? And it's 2020 now. Why are we still got this black on black, us against them? Why is this still up against, after all, despite everything that's going on? Why is we still at that? Why is we still at odds
Why
with
we're
each other?
so against each other. Man, and I'm gonna tell you, I watched this and we all grew up watching this, they got words for it, black on black crime, you know, niggas and, no bullshit niggas, no good niggas, fuck niggas, fuck boys. And, we got all different dynamics to where we divide ourselves and we tell ourselves who to fuck with, who not to fuck with. All of this division is so deeply embedded within us as individuals because it's hard for you to see your brother as he truly is if you're wrapped up in what you've been taught this person is. It also goes back to something that I spoke on earlier about how when you see a black person, the only thing you think of is the whole dynamic of the whole image that is painted within your mind on what a nigga is. Like straight up. When you see certain niggas, the way they dress, the way they drive, the way they talk, these things determine on how you feel about this person. We are so judgmental. We have been raised to be judgmental creatures because a part of us is always trying to dissect some shit instead of just allowing things to be. And now a part of it comes from a lot of us being wrapped up in survival mode and us not being able to see people for who they are instead of who we want them to be. So when you don't know who you are, and we have a bunch of people that are walking around literally locked up in survival mode, I'm gonna tell you how powerful this is, man. Just last night, I'm in a restaurant, and I told you about this. A waiter blatantly, literally steals my cell phone. Stole my cell phone. And I went back into the restaurant, the old me, part of me was like, I don't give a fuck, I drag his little bitch ass up in here. That's old me in my mind, and so it put me in this battle within myself because I didn't know how to respond. So I'm like, damn. And I found myself being mindful of myself. I wasn't mindful of everybody else in the restaurant who was watching me. I was mindful on how I was reacting behind the situation. And I was in a place of being good. I was in a place of not allowing my emotions to get the best of me. And I was also honoring what was happening. So I wasn't going to say you didn't steal my phone. Like, I'm going to forgive you and all that namaste. I was like, your little bitch ass stole my phone. I know you stole my motherfucking phone. Like, I'm giving you an opportunity to give me my phone. And it was a whole learning experience for me because a part of me wanted to resort to something physical because I felt played. I felt like, you got me fucked up. That whole emotion was trying to come up. But my being, the way I'm set up now, that shit wouldn't come up. And I was mad at myself for it not coming out. You hear me? I'm like, man, you sit up here, you know this nigga had your phone. You just sit up here and just let him know. When you transmute energy, the beautiful thing in it all was I have another phone shipped to me tomorrow. And I needed another phone anyway. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it was everything works the way it's supposed to work when you try to let go of things happening the way that you want them to. And I was saying that to say, because us as individuals, we're so wrapped up in life not happening the way we want it to. So we walk around mad, especially us as black people. We got so many reasons to be mad. You know what I'm saying? We got us as an individual, like when we really look at the dynamic of who we are and what really separates us, is because every person who's black feel like they got different reasons to why they mad. Like when you look at another black person, when you cross somebody in the store, you don't know what's triggering him. You don't know what pisses him off. And then you trying to deal with the shit that triggers you. So that nigga looked at me and said, well, I don't like when people look at me like that. You know what I'm saying? That nigga, I spoke, they didn't speak back. Like certain things that trigger us before we even get to know each other. Like we to the point to where if a nigga pull up leaning in his car wrong, man, look how that nigga was driving. You know what I'm saying? Like we to the point we dissect every little thing that we do. Look how that nigga walking. Like we call it scoring now. See, that's how deep this shit is. We call it scoring because a part of us are looking at each other and we judging each other and just dissecting, breaking each other down, just dividing each other to the point to where you think you can look at a nigga and tell if he got money or not. You can tell, like, these are what the tools and the look and where people get wrapped up in a representative. Get them at.
I mean, but ain't that? I mean, that's been 200 years since the 400 some years since the
the when they left letters.
Yeah. Ain't that broke? Ain't that over and done?
Nah,
Why is
because
it still leaning on in the black community? Because it ain't in no other community.
the reason
It's
why
only the black community.
the reason why the whole Willie Lynch letters are still relevant for us today, right now, and why that mindset, it's a mindset, because we're so wrapped up in status. What separates us is what we think we have. This is why we guard the shit we get. See, when you get rich, you don't want certain people around. Guard your circle. You can't be fucking with fuck niggas. Get these type of people away from you. Everything becomes an aspect of separation because we are built on status. What you can buy determines how much power you have, how many followers you got. Now they're giving us so many false senses of this shit to where we are still separated because we are too defined by physical things. Black people are too defined by physical shit. We're too defined by designer. We're too defined by the shit that we can drive. We're too defined by our jobs. We're too defined by wealth. We're too defined by who's doing what, who's not doing what. We're too defined by being black. Every aspect of us equates to how black you are, how much of a nigga you are, how black you are. Like you, it's like different levels to your blackness. This is how powerful the Willie Lynch has made us. If you are light skinned, that means you got some type of, you ain't black enough. You know what I'm saying? Or if you ain't been through enough shit in the hood, you ain't been through enough traumatic shit, you ain't black enough. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't been raised a certain type of way, you ain't black. If you don't cook like this, you ain't black enough. If you don't walk like this, you ain't black enough. If you don't wear this, you ain't black enough. To the point to where everything about being black is on you. It ain't in you. So everything that we do, we judge ourselves by what we see, not what's inside of us. So we all are judging ourselves by the content of our skin and not the color of our skin and not the content of our character. So even us have adopted this whole race, this racial mindset, this racial inequity against each other. And we always want the white folks to honor it before we do. See, we don't honor ourselves as equals. See, we don't honor ourselves as our own brothers and our own sisters, but you want somebody else to honor you as such. We allow ourselves to be separated by so much shit. And then we want somebody else to step outside of our race or step outside of us being black and acknowledge us for who we are. Man, we so separated and divided because that's why the healing. That's why I do what I do. Because in order for you to truly get to the essence of accepting somebody for who they are, you got to accept you for who you are. And see, in order for you to become to a place to where you feel safe amongst anybody, you have to trust you. You have to know that you can guard your energy. You have to know that you're not going to put yourself in certain situations to be fucking with fuck niggas, to be fucking with people who don't have your best interests at hand, to be around motherfuckers. And you will understand that fuck niggas ain't got no color. Motherfuckers that don't give a damn about you won't take no color. You met all motherfuckers with different shapes and forms and sizes that didn't give a fuck about how you feel. So this never had nothing to do with being no nigga. This got everything to do with y'all about you being you. So when you embrace the fact that it's all about you versus you, and you are able to remove what is separating you from accepting black people for who they are, and accepting the fact that a part of you does do racial shit, like you do see black people and you do feel some type of way. So we as a black people have to embrace the racial inequities that have been instilled within us before we can unite. Because that division is still allowed upon us. That's why a lot of us, even when we're black, you want to get money like a white person. Like even in your mind, you want to have money like somebody white. You don't want nigga money. I want that white folks money. You know, before Trump was president, you were saying I want Donald Trump money. You measure your success by somebody white. So a part of you is still divided, and when you see a nigga, them niggas ain't got no money. See, even when people who are mine, and when you move into a bit, we separate on so many levels to the point to where if ain't nobody on what you on, they ain't your type of nigga. Nah, that ain't my nigga. You don't do no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't take nothing for nobody to cross us. You know what I'm saying? Color divides us. Religion divides us. Beliefs divides us. Hoods divide us. Streets divide. Motherfuckers is in a matter of right around a corner from each other and saying we from two different places.
Like this is some deep division shit that we up against, and we trying to unite.
Like Fish Trap and Rip.
You feel me? Fish Trap, Rupert Circle, Bonton, Turner Court, goddamn me, Compton versus LA, whatever, all this type of shit. Grape Street Crips versus the Rolling 60, like all this type of shit, man. Like all this shit is division because we are divided on so many levels. So even in the hood, we divided because I'm from here and you ain't from there, or I'm from here and you ain't from here. Like, and we trying to come together. Like so we trying to come together when we think that we can stay rooted in division. You want to stay rooted in division and create unity? All you gonna create is destruction. All it is a basis for more shit to happen. All it is a basis for some bullshit to creep in. That's why all of these entities, all of these places, all of these groups, all of these social things fail. Because it's rooted in division. You're trying to bring together people who are divided within themselves. People who have their own agenda when they come to the table. People who have their own wants and desires when they come to the table. People who have their own well-being in mind when they come to the table. This is what you're trying to build on. You're trying to build with people who are in survival mode. See, this is the division that I'm talking about. You have to remove people within your midst that all they think about is what's going to happen for them, what they going to get out of it. Now, if you line up 10 black people, that's going to be 9 of them. That's the reality that we dealing with. And somebody might be able to hide it better than the other, and that might be the 10th nigga. You get what I'm saying? So it's like all of it becomes an aspect of us being able to blend into a certain dynamic of being a certain way because we want something out of the whole equation. So the reason the division lies within the individual being locked into survival mode, man. Like until we break that as a person, until you let go of that within yourself, you're not going to be able to have a global or mass movement, because in order for something truly to happen, you might got to become devoted to something bigger than yourself. The greatest movements in humanity have happened when people have made sure that their agenda was greater than their own personal wants and desires and needs. Somebody that sacrificed something, surrendered to something. When you get a group of people that are willing to surrender and sacrifice something, and their own well-being is compromised in a way. See, that's why if you believe in, you die something. If you die for something, you believe in it. So whatever you stand for, if you stand for something, you fall for anything. That's why all these sayings come into play. So a lot of us are standing for our survival. So even if you're standing for your survival, you will fall for anything, because all you would need is some sense of instant gratification. You can be bought when you're in survival mode. All right? Somebody can give you a promise of you having something, and you will go for that and go against the whole vision of the collective when you're in survival mode. Because the whole reason why you was a part of the shit, because you was waiting on your turn. See? You was waiting on when you get some money. So the whole reason why we cannot come together as a people is because we got too many people that are trying to build their own legacies. We got too many people that have their own agenda. We got too many people that have their own well-being in mind and not thinking about the well-being of humanity. See, and then when you think about humanity, that's why I said it has to be greater than a people. It has to be greater than your people. Your service or when you become rooted in something that's greater than you have to be of service to people, not just your people. That's when great things begin to happen.
Hey, you hit it right on. You hit it right on the head, man. You hit the nail right on the head. And after that, hey, we good, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you want to talk about something else, what else you
Well, I mean, that's
because I mean, I do want to ask you. So, do you think with all this trauma that people have in childhood trauma, is like, you know, is best for people to get counseling, or because how do they take care of the things that they need to let go?
The solution.
What's the solution part of it?
It's time to get to the solution. The solution is, first of all, now this is what I deal in. This is why I do the healing work that I do. Anybody that wants a consultation, this is what I do. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook name is Sensei. I have a Facebook page because I am here called I Am Here to Help You Find Your Truth. Another page called Divine Selections, and a group called Healing Time. Um, and this is what I do. I deal in experience because this is all I know in this life. So the reason why I'm able to help you or to help people because I am able to be a presence for someone. Now, how I understand the dynamic or how powerful it is in your healing because I've done it for myself. Your healing is supposed to equate to you becoming a safe place for yourself to dwell. When you become this safe place for yourself to dwell, this means that you remove all things that keep you from wanting to be alone. All things that keep you in a place of feeling like you need to reach out when you by yourself. All things that keep you in a place of feeling like you're not whole and you're not complete, where you need something or somebody outside of you to make you feel valid. When when you're trying to remove this mindset, the whole aspect of your healing and how you remove these traumatic experiences from yourself is by simply honoring the fact that you've been through them.
See, a lot of us run from our pain. A lot of us don't want to face the fact that I need to heal. So a lot of you, when you run from your pain, you don't want to talk about it. This is the aspect when you're running. This is how you know when you're running from your pain. When everybody sees your pain but you. When everybody can tell you something is wrong with you and you steady saying, I'm all right. When somebody is telling you, they're asking you, is there something you want to talk about? And you say, no.
Even for my men, this is mainly for my men. All right? Stop running from your pain, brothers. Stop telling people you are right, knowing that you're not. Stop telling people that you're not fucked up, knowing that you fucked up. Stop telling people that you ain't going through something, knowing that you're going through something. The first thing that you have to do when you want to get over this is stop lying to yourself. So this means that you got to stop living a lie.
It's okay to say that you're hurting. It's okay to say that you're going through something. It's okay to say that, you know what, I just need a little time right now. It's okay to say that I've been hurt. It's okay to say that I don't know how to do this. It's okay.
I don't know. It's okay for you to do these things. Because once you embrace this, a sense of vulnerability will happen for you. So as a man, I'm telling you, brothers, to please embrace the fact that
The aspects of your healing will not occur until you
are safe enough to admit that you are hurt. Until you're safe enough to admit that something is bothering you. See, this will open up the door to the many dimensions of your pain. So even as you're going through this as a being, period, man or woman, you're allowing yourself to embrace
the fact that there's some things about myself, about my childhood that still haunt me, that still bother me. There's some things about that happened with my mama that I feel like she didn't nurture me enough, or some things that I didn't get from not having a father in my life, or you begin to acknowledge the pain that came with your childhood. If you can acknowledge it, you can heal from it. I'm going to say that again. If you can acknowledge it,
you can heal from it. A level of acceptance has to happen. This acceptance has to happen because you have to realize that it's not your fault. Your pain is not your fault. Somebody instilled something into you and it suppressed you in a sense, and it made you have to deal with something that you didn't know how to deal with. See, if somebody molested you, if somebody hurt you, if somebody instilled their own vulgarness or their own this treacherous ways into you, this is not your fault. In order for you to deal with these things, in order for you to heal from these things, you must embrace the fact that you are now responsible for honoring your own emotions and your own feelings and nurturing yourself back to a place of being whole and complete. It's not your mama's responsibility anymore. They lost that when you became an adult. All right? It's not your father's responsibility to be there for you anymore. He lost that responsibility for you when you became an adult. Nobody is entitled to do anything for you in your life. I don't care what title they come with. Nobody has to do shit for you. When you become capable, when you become an adult, and you become in a place of knowing who you are and knowing what comes with this life, you are now responsible for creating your own life. Your mama ain't responsible for you no more. Your dad ain't responsible for you no more. Nobody's made to love you anymore. You have to take this power back. from yourself, from every aspect of any being that you think is supposed to be loving you, nurturing you, taking care of you. See, when you begin to really embrace that you've been through these things as a child, they will begin to reveal themselves to you. Just how much you're still relying on people, or how much you still trying to force your mama to be your mama, or how much you still trying to force your daddy to be your daddy, or how much you still trying to force your sister to be your sister, force your brother to be your brother, force so many people in your life instead of just accepting that these people are who they are. Stop trying to change people. See, as you became an adult, because when we were child, your children are our biggest manipulators. You became a master manipulator as a child. Look at your kids. Look at your kids. Even if you know any kids, these kids will manipulate you, and they know how to do it with their emotions. They know how to do it with their words. They know how to do it with their actions. So you just became better at this shit as you got older. That's all you did. You became better at being a master manipulator and learn how to keep people in your life, learn how to get people to do the shit you want them to do in your life, and learn how to make people love you in your life. That's all you are. See? You got to learn how to manipulate yourself back to you. You got to learn how to manipulate that thought process and stop thinking and stop allowing yourself to think that people are supposed to be doing something for you because they have a certain title in your life. That sense of title, that title came with a sense of entitlement to you. You think that because they're your husband, you think that because they're your boyfriend, you think that because they're your brother, your sister, your best friend, your BFF, your whatever the case may be, that they have to be a certain way for you. This shit came from when you were a child. It came from when we were children. So when you embrace the fact that nobody has to be a certain way for you, and you allow people to just be themselves and be a presence in your life, this will change your life dramatically. So the solutions become you. The solutions become realization. The solutions become you becoming in such a place to where you embrace solitude. You embrace being alone. You don't allow yourself to feel lonely anymore. You embrace the fact that you've been through some traumatic shit. And without all the shit that you've been through, you would not know who you are. With all the traumatic experiences, I don't give a damn what you've been through. It all made you the person you are today. If you are hearing this right now, anything that you've been through have made you who you are today. Why would you want to escape that? Why would you want to let that go? You want to let pieces of you go? You want to not embrace every part of you, but you want somebody else to do it. You see the battle that you put yourself in? Because throughout your life, somebody taught you you had to be this way. So are you truly loving all of you, or are you still waiting on somebody else to do it? Have you truly found that sense of yourself and a sense of joy within your life to where you're not allowing yourself to be suppressed by your inner childhood anymore? You're not thinking about all the curses that were spoken upon you all the time somebody told you you couldn't be something. From the moment somebody asked you who you wanted to be, and you began to name a school teacher, a trash man, a policeman, a lawyer, a doctor. You began to name all these things instead of just being you. See, nobody taught us how to be you. We grow up in a life to where everybody teaches you how to be everything but you. So when it comes to you loving you, and when it comes to you being you, of course you don't know how to do it. Because there is no book you can go read. There is no curriculum you can go read. Even the Bible isn't good enough. If it was, we wouldn't. If the Bible was so good, we wouldn't need so many copies of it. We wouldn't need so many preachers either. Wouldn't need so many churches. Wouldn't need so many people that need saving. If church was really working, why in the fuck is the door still open? Tell me why is the church on every corner? The church is still working. See what I'm saying? You are the church. You are the temple. See, nobody ever taught us this when you were young. See, so your childhood lies a lot of mysteries, and there's a lot of things that have been removed from us. So in order for you to truly get back to the essence of you, you have to really realize that you dwell within a temple. You are the sanctuary. You are the place where the Creator dwells. So in order for you to really remove these aspects of your childhood traumas, you must first accept the fact that they happened to you.
Accept the fact that you might have had a childhood that you ain't so proud of. The only reason why you're not so proud of it because a part of you is still measuring it by somebody else's childhood. They grew up like this, you grew up like this. You're still measuring your childhood. You're still measuring your parents. You're still measuring the way you were loved. You're still measuring the things that you grew up with and the things that you grew up without, the have and the have-nots. You still view yourself as separate from something. That's the only reason why a lot of us don't want to allow ourselves to heal. Because you still view yourself as being somebody who's been through so much that can't nobody else understand it. Do you understand it? That is the question. Can you accept the fact that your life has came with many trials and tribulations? How much pain must you go through before you embrace the fact that there's no more pain that you should endure? How many disappointments must you face before you allow yourself to keep going? How many heartbreaks must you go through before you allow yourself to keep getting into these relationships and you setting yourself up to be heartbroken again because you're hoping that this person is the one? How many people you gonna get with that you think is the one? How many times you gonna meet somebody that you think you finna spend the rest of your life with? How long are you gonna live a fairy tale? How long are you gonna be the victim in your life? That is the question. At some point you have to choose to be victorious. The choice is yours. You have all the tools needed in this life to become anything that you want to. The problem is you don't know how to use them. You become a victim of your mind. You become a victim of your body. They're not prisoners. You're a prisoner of them. Your mindset binds you. Your body controls you. You don't control them. So embracing these aspects of who you are requires that you go deep into yourself, deep into the abyss of who you are, removing all the things within your darkness that are keeping you from embracing your life. Can you rise? Can you rise from the ashes like the phoenix? Can you embrace all that you've been through and allow it to transform and shape you and mold you into this new person that you want to create? I want you to create a vision in your mind of the person that you want to become. I want you to first embrace the fact that you've been through so many things. I want you to allow yourself to really think about the things that you've been through. Write them down. I'm going to give you all a healing exercise. Write down your traumatic experiences. This is shadow work. Write down the most hurtful things that you've been through in your life. Things that make you cry or cringe when you think about them. You talk about something and it makes you cry, you're not healed from it. If you bring up something and you tell a story about something you've been through and it makes you want to cry, you are not healed from that experience. Write it down. Get it out. Read it. Look at it. Cultivate it. Think about it. Allow yourself to embrace that it happened to you. And then burn that shit. Burn that shit. Release it. Let it all go. Remind yourself that you are stronger than your trials and your tribulations. Remind yourself that you are greater than your pain. Remind yourself that you can create yourself in the image that you want. Then I want you to write down the person that you want to become. I want you to write down the things that you want to create. I want you to be realistic with yourself. Write down the visions of yourself, that the person that's the life or the businesses that you want to create. Create this vision in your mind. Write it down. Look at it. Smile about it. See yourself in that place. Imagine yourself opening up the doors to your new business. Imagine yourself healed and complete. Imagine yourself not allowing no stress into you. Imagine yourself walking into abundance. Imagine yourself walking into joy. Imagine yourself shedding all the traumatic experiences that you've been through in this life. Imagine yourself recreating and remolding and reshaping yourself. Imagine yourself emerging from the waters anew. Imagine your light birthing from your darkness. Imagine yourself bursting through all the things that you've been through, all the things that are holding you back. Imagine yourself pushing through those things and coming out a new person, victorious. See yourself doing this. Visualize it, taste it. See yourself smiling in your new house. See yourself opening up the doors to your new business. See yourself in that new truck. See yourself in that new car.
Then let go of the attachment of having it. Hold on to the vision, but let go of the attachment of needing it to describe you, to deem that you've made it. And then watch how something glorious and magnificent will happen. Alignments will begin to happen. You will begin to happen.
You have the power within your mind to recreate the life that you want. Just simply about removing all the fears and the doubts and the traumatic experiences that are keeping you from doing so. That takes time.
Or it can also happen overnight. Just a matter of how strong your will. And you will your will to victory. Or will your willpower pull you back down every time? So controlling you means that you control your mind and your body. They no longer keep you prisoner, divine ones. There's a lot of things that you've been through that can give you a lot of excuses. There's a lot of problems you can name. I know you've been through a lot of shit. I know you've been through things that can't nobody understand but you. But I guarantee you, heal from those. Free yourself from those. Divine ones, learn to free yourself from yourself.
Because the only person, the only savior that can come and save you is you. Peace and love, beautiful souls. Namaste.
Right, family. We're gonna cut it down today. We're gonna end it on that note. And yeah, leave your comments in the box, man. We kind of was off today, but it was still a beautiful message, man.
Yeah, man.
These childhood traumas really gotta be dealt with, man. Really gotta deal with them, man. If y'all wanna get some work done with my brother, man, you go back on the video. Go ahead and give him that plug one more time.
Man, y'all can find me on Facebook. It's under Sensei. That's my name, SENSAY. And also, me and my queen have a page called Divine Selections. And we also have a website, divineselections.net. My queen makes jewelry, and she's over here working right now.
Right.
And she's been working the whole time over
Right,
here, y'all.
right,
Like
right.
I'm telling you, focus over here, y'all. You hear me? But it's a beautiful thing on what we do, and we do readings as well, tarot card. I do numerology readings. So we help people get into divine alignment. That's what we do. We take pride in ourselves on not needing another reading. When you come to us, our total attention is focused on you and solely on you. So we just, we want the divine in us connects with the divine in you. So a lot of what we do is simply revolved around you embracing your divinity, and you learning to love yourself, learning to be selfish, and then learning to be selfless. So, go to our website, check us out. Find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Sensei007. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience, and we employ ourselves on being a safe place for all of you. So yes, please call us, hit us up anytime. Uh, Hit us up anytime.
Right, family. With that being said, it's your boy Richie Rich. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna find out for me. When I find out for me, I'm gonna tell we, and we will be. You hear me? The true I am. It's your boy Richie Rich. Yeah.
Peace, peace, love, beautiful souls.